Chapter 369. The river murmured as it flowed quietly into the distance. It meandered and the sun shone brightly. Jianjia became the academy, educating people for 100 years. The sound of reading echoed in the fields, like a fantasy between the clouds and the water. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who had stayed in Zhuangzi to watch other people's competitions, heard the sound of reading coming from the academy as soon as they walked to between the clouds and the water. All the children in Zhuangzi went to the academy to study, except for those who joined later, and those who were too young. The old man found some teachers and divided them into several subjects. Zhang Xiaobao didn't let the Jianjia Academy teach the things written by Wang Wan. Those things would be learned in Zhuangzi after school. Similarly, he didn't teach some subjects related to medicine and technology in the academy. The technical subjects were taught in specialized engineering schools, and the medical subjects were taught in specialized hospitals. When the Yaowang mountain was settled, he would set up a medical school. It would be best if he could pull in a few doctors from the medical school in the capital. The sound of reading echoed in the academy not far from between the clouds and the water. The people eating between the clouds and the water, as well as the villagers, didn't find it noisy. Some even stopped to listen carefully, as if it was a pleasant thing to hear others read. The old man was old, so he woke up earlier. He was doing the 8 animals exercise in the small pavilion. When he saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he made a few gestures and walked to the main restaurant between the clouds and the water. He wanted to eat with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Grandpa Bai, some people have come in the past few days. How many students have you accepted? There are some new faces in the academy. Wang Wan walked forward and asked the old man. I've taken in 11 people. 4 of them are from good families, and the other 2 are recommended by my old friends. Tomorrow, when those people arrive, I can choose some more. I can't be like what you think, where I'll only take in those who are rich. Also, we agreed that the Zhang family would pay for their food, clothing, and housing. We can't be lacking, especially their food. Even if we don't eat meat every day, we should at least add an egg. I've seen the food that the children in your farmstead eat. It doesn't have to be that good. It's fine if they don't have enough milk. The old man pointed in the direction of the academy and said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't expect to collect tuition fees, and they wouldn't specifically accept rich students. They wanted to train more people and expect their help in the future. Of course, they would take care of small things like food, clothing, and living expenses. Wang Wan followed the old man upstairs and said, Grandpa Bai, don't worry. We don't lack money. We promise to have a meat dish every day, but it can't be too good. According to the box lunches we sell now, in the morning, there will be a bowl of porridge or soy milk, tofu pudding, 2 tea eggs, vegetable steamed buns or deep-fried dough sticks, and 2 small pickles. For lunch, there will be 2 vegetarian dishes and 1 meat dish. There will be rice, steamed buns, and egg soup. In the evening, there will be 2 vegetarian dishes and 2 meat dishes. They will rest for a while after eating and continue to study. Those who don't study will only have 2 vegetarian dishes. They will do whatever they want after eating. Those who study will have a bowl of fish soup before going to bed in the middle of the night. In terms of living, there will be 3 seasons of bedding a year. In spring, summer, winter, and autumn, there will be no need for that. There will be 2 sets of clothes a season. If they wear out, they can mend it themselves or buy it. We will take care of the ink, paper, and inkstone. There will be a fixed amount every month. If you need extra, you can ask. Those who are good at learning will be given more. They can also copy books while they are studying in the academy. We will give them different amounts of money according to the thickness of each book they copy. After all, they have to practice themselves. That is to say, as long as they are willing to learn, they will not only not lack things, but also save some money. Those who are rich don't care. If they feel that the food in the academy is not good, they can eat outside. Between the clouds and the water is only a few steps away. They can also buy their own clothes, but they must be made according to the uniform style of the academy. They also have to embroider the words of the academy on their clothes. They are not allowed to go home or make trouble outside. They can choose to live in the academy's house, which is free. They can also rent a courtyard between the clouds and the water. But they are not allowed to come out after a certain time at night. Grandpa Bai, do you think this is okay? We've done everything we can. The old man did not expect that Wang Wan would say so in detail. It seemed that her family had mentioned this when they came out. He thought for a while and asked, "What if someone is sick?" "Of course, we have to treat the sick. This is free. We can't use 100-year-old ginseng for every illness. We can just give them ordinary medicine. If it's too good, it depends on how well they are learning. If they are ranked first in the academy, we can give them 100-year-old ginseng." Zhang Xiaobao continued. It was normal for people to get sick, but it was not right to use the best medicine on anyone who got sick. If someone really got sick, there was nothing that could be done. "That's good. Then your family will have to spend a lot of money." The old man was satisfied. It was enough to treat the sick. He did a little calculation. If there were 200 students in the academy, the Zhang family would have to spend 4 strings of coins a day, especially on those meat dishes. In a year, they would have to spend at least 2,000 strings of coins, including clothes. After all, there was also the money for copying books. Copying books was indeed a way to learn. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also knew this. But they had to spend money for a long-term plan. It was the same for the medical school in the future. Wang Wan said to the old man at this time, "It will cost a lot of money. In summer, there will be crystal sugar mung bean porridge and sour plum soup. In addition, there will be ice when it's too hot. In winter there will be charcoal and coal. Every one of them will have to spend money. And there will be tea to refresh them at night. We plan to give each of them half a kilogram of tea leaves a month. According to our method, they can only drink it themselves. They are not allowed to sell it. Ordinary tea will do. We can't let them drink tea that costs dozens of taels of silver." The old man was even happier. In this way, if the students in the academy did not study hard, he would drive them away mercilessly. Your family will spend a few years of money first. When they are successful in the future, they will definitely repay your family. No one dares to go against you. As long as you tell them about the academy, no one will continue to be friends with them. What do you want to eat this morning? The old man also understood that the students who graduated from the academy would be good to the Zhang family and Wang family in the future. The money would not be wasted. It was a win-win situation. Drink milk, eat cake, and a few fried eggs. Ask them to fry a big goose egg. Wang Wan said to the waiter waiting at the door. The cake was baked in the oven that used to bake fish fillets. Milk was not available all the time, so they could eat it when they got there. After a while, the waiter served the food. In addition to the few things that Wang Wan said, there were a few pieces of baked ham and some pickles. This way of eating was only seen in some restaurants owned by the Zhang family. Many people were not used to it, especially the cake. It was good to eat as a snack, but when it was eaten as a main meal, they always felt that it was not full. It was not as good as steamed buns. The old man had gotten used to it these days. He was a little fatter than when he first came here. His weak body had also recovered. Now he did not need to eat a fixed amount for a meal. He could eat a little when he wanted to. He could eat more than 1 meal a day and eat less every meal. There was a set of special recipes for him. What do we have to compete in the academy? The old man asked Zhang Xiaobao, and Wang Wan as he ate a piece of salted fish wrapped in egg white and fried in flour. Painting, calligraphy, poetry, and political criticism. These 4 are all in the academy. As for the couplets, we can put them outside and compare them while we look at the scenery. Grandpa Bai, we should ask them to make more couplets. At least when they are writing poems, they should compare them. Also, the archery competition is at the foot of the mountain. Zhang Xiaobao talked about the competition. Couplets were usually not valued. It was difficult to compare couplets outside, and it could be used to test people. After this competition, people who were at a disadvantage in couplets would often use them. They did not have to wait until the Song Dynasty to develop it. It was not known whether the Song Dynasty existed or not. In fact, the most important thing was that Zhang Xiaobao wanted to let the people in Zhuangzi who had learned the couplets recited by Wang Wan take advantage of him. The old man did not know about Zhang Xiaobao's narrow-mindedness. He felt that this arrangement was not bad. He nodded and said, "Then let's do it this way. It is said that many of the people who came have no food to eat. You have to take care of them." "That's not a rumor. It's just like that. Some people have already come over. Every day, the people who sell boxed meals at the farmstead will prepare a meal for them. They can choose any dish they like, 3 vegetarian dishes and 1 meat dish. Some of them are even preparing to teach children in school. Wang Wan drank the last mouthful of milk and picked up the cold water beside her to rinse her mouth. The old man did not say much about this. The world was so big that it was impossible to take care of everyone. When they were studying, they did not do much work. When they were in the family, they would be short of labor. Those who studied for a few years and finally got the status of a tribute to the village, but when they came to the capital to take the exam, they did not even have the money to go back home. Most of the time, some families had their own internal schools and found people to teach their children. Ordinary families couldn't do that. They had to borrow books. Under such circumstances, it was very rare for ordinary families to be able to produce talented students. The fact that the Zhang family could arrange something for Zhang Zhong to do was a good deed. Plus, they could set up an academy. When the time came, even if Zhang Zhong did make some mistakes, as long as it was not a rebellion, he could get away with it. Even the emperor had to consider this. When the 3 of them were eating, a waiter ran in and said to Zhang Xiaobao anxiously, "Young master, bad news. Someone jumped into the lake." Jumped into the lake? Even if he wanted to jump into the lake, he shouldn't jump into the lake between the clouds and the water. There are so many other places. Let's eat first. Chapter 370. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan accompanied the old man to finish his meal. After a short rest, they went outside together. "Don't stop me. Let me die. I don't want to live anymore." Before the 3 of them could get close, they heard a person's shouts. It seemed that he was fine. Judging from the voice, he was full of confidence. As they walked closer, they could finally see the person's appearance clearly. At this time, his face was like an eggplant, round and a little flat. His hair was tied up on his head with a rope. His clothes were green. They were wet from the water, and were about 4 feet 8 inches tall. He had single eyelids, a short nose and thick lips. He shouted that he wanted to die. No one caught him. Only 3 yamen runners took out their knives and held them against his body, preventing him from jumping into the lake. "Don't stop me. I don't want to live anymore. Get out of the way. Let me die." The person saw that many people had surrounded him and shouted even louder. He held the back of the knife and wanted to take it away. The yamen runner held the knife against his neck and asked, "Where did you come from? What are you doing?" "I want to die. Why do you care where I come from? Don't tremble. You'll cut it." Being held by the knife, the person didn't dare to move. He stood there and didn't even dare to turn his head. However, he still didn't change his mind about jumping into the lake. The yamen runner was angry. "I won't move. You can move. Don't you want to die? I'll fulfill your wish. If you don't move, I won't move. I want to die by jumping into the lake. I don't want to die by a knife." The person's cold sweat flowed down together with the water on his hair. "You're making trouble, right?" The yamen runner shouted again, scaring the person. "I'm not making trouble. Between the clouds and the water forced me. I want to die in the lake between the clouds and the water," the person said again. The people around him laughed scornfully at the same time. "Tell me, how did between the clouds and the water force you?" "You're working between the clouds and the water?" asked one of the people in charge of between the clouds and the water. The man shook his head, looked at the people around him and angrily said, "It's all because of that curved plow. I had thought of it, but when I was about to do it, someone else did it first. I asked around, and the person who made the curved plow was the boss behind between the clouds and the water. If they didn't make it, then the credit would be mine. If I could be an official and earn a lot of money, I wouldn't be like this now, where I can only repair people's plows and do some chores. Don't you think it's because of between the clouds and the water?" The surrounding people let out scornful laughter again. Some even began to curse. What kind of person was this? To think that he could find such a reason to jump into the lake. It was obvious that he knew that nothing would happen if he jumped into the lake, so he deliberately came over to cause trouble. The yamen runner took back his knife and pointed at the lake, saying, "Now you can jump. No one will stop you, and no one will save you. Jump. You want me to die? I know what you're planning. Are you afraid that I'll tell others about this? My curved plow must have been stolen by you. And then you made it out to be yours. I'm going to find my uncle and sue you. My surname is Liu. Remember this. Do you know who my uncle is? The man stopped moving and began to threaten. Unfortunately, Zhangjia Zhuangzi didn't copy him. Even if he did, no one would believe him. The Zhang family made all kinds of things, and they had skilled people who specialized in this. My uncle is a high-ranking official in the capital. When the time comes to punish you, I will definitely find him. Who can lend me some money first? I don't have any money to go back. The man continued, which led to a burst of laughter. Your uncle is a high-ranking official in the capital. Why are you dressed so shabbily? You don't even have a travel fee. How did you get here? Someone couldn't help but ask. I haven't seen my uncle yet. I didn't find the place. I came from somewhere else. My grandfather said that there is an uncle who is a high-ranking official in the capital. He is in charge of many people, and he is also in charge of this curved plow. I walked around the capital, but the place is too big. I didn't find him, so I came to find the person who stole my curved plow. If you are willing to compensate me, I won't mention this matter. When I came, I said that I came to participate in the competition. I didn't spend any money, and I didn't spend any money on food. This person explained to the person who asked him the question. Everyone despised him even more. He pretended to be a contestant and freeloaded all the way here. He even took a free ride on the boat just to cause trouble for others. They didn't know why the boat that was transporting people allowed him to board. At this time the old man said, Your surname is Liu, and your uncle's surname is also Liu. He is in charge of this curved plow. He is a high-ranking official. Is your uncle called Liu Jiro? He is the current Minister of Works. I know where he lives. Go to Vermilion Bird Avenue and ask around. There is a shop called Onren Fong there. When you see your uncle, tell him to take some time to come to between the clouds and the water. There is good news. After the old man finished speaking to the man, he said to Zhang Xiaobao, Xiaobao, get someone to give him some money. See if it is true. If it is true, he is a distant relative of the Liu family. If it is false, it is not easy for him to come here. Don't catch him. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. The person in charge immediately sent someone to get the money. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not plan to do anything to this man. It was easy to lock him up, but the effect was too small. There were not many people who came to find trouble. Moreover, this man did not have any powerful skills. If it was another trading firm, it would be another story. Letting him go would let people see the Zhang family's generosity. That man really did remember the place, the old man said. He repeated it over and over again, as if he was afraid of forgetting. The people around him did not say anything more. They all talked about how between the clouds and the water was the safest place. There was no need to worry about falling and dying. The wine and dishes between the clouds and the water were also good. At this time, the waiter brought the money over. He was afraid that it would be inconvenient for him to take it out and spend it, so he specially divided the money into 100 strings. One of the strings was divided into 10 strings of 10 copper coins. This kind of consideration for details made the people around him start to praise the various benefits of Between the Clouds and the Water Restaurant. At the same time, they despised this man who came to make trouble. This man was really not polite. He reached out and took the money. He looked at the people around him, and then looked at the old man. He said to the old man, Who are you? How do you know my uncle? When I mention you to my uncle, I have to say your name. Otherwise, how can my uncle, who is such a high official, remember an old man? My name is Liu Feidong. Oh, good name. If you really see your uncle, tell him that old man by asked him, How high is a minister? Can such a high official condescend to come here? The old man laughed and said to Liu Feidong, Ah, how high is a minister? Liu Feidong did not know. Not high, just a third-level official. The county magistrate of Sanshui County is a 7th-level official. He will be a 6th-level official soon. A little higher than a county magistrate. They all have a hard life. The old man explained and let out a sigh. Only those who knew his original position would understand this sigh. Lu Feidong thought for a moment and said, "A high official, really a high official. I will go find my uncle. When the time comes, I will ask between the clouds and the water to compensate me." Such a high official. The county magistrate does not dare to protect him, ha 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 ha. As he spoke, he went to find a boat to enter the capital. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sighed at the same time. The two of them were really helpless. They did not know how a high official like Lu Jiro could have a distant relative, so they just let it be. When the people around saw that there was no more drama to watch, they dispersed one after another. Some people even wanted to jump down from the window to experience it, but they were told that jumping down was also okay. One jump would cost 100 copper coins. They all gave up on the idea. It was really too expensive. "Grandpa Bai, why are you looking for him? What if this person is a swindler?" Zhang Xiaobao saw that it was quiet and asked the old man. The old man took their hands and walked towards the pavilion. As he walked, he said, "If he is a swindler, when the competition is over, I will have someone call him. If he is not a swindler, it is even better. The Minister of Works is naturally in charge of the Ministry of Works. Let him come over and see what your house made. The place where I live first made that fan. There is not much wind outside, so one end is connected to the water. When the water of the small river rushes over, the fan in the house really starts to turn. Put a basin of ice or water in front of the house, and it is indeed cooling. There are records of this in some books, but there are not many places to do it. I think it is convenient. Maybe it can be used in other aspects in the future. I let him come over just to see those small parts and think about it. As for the Book of Nature, after I finish learning it, I will talk to him, especially about the clairvoyance. I am an old man who is about to die. Even if I lose my official position, the Ministry of Works can't just casually send someone over, right? If he doesn't come, I won't give him the Book of Nature. I will only let the person he sends take a look at the clairvoyance. He will be anxious to death." The old man's words left Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan dumbfounded. They did not expect the old man to have such a mischievous side. The thing the old man was talking about was naturally the fan that the two of them were thinking about. He gave the general idea and blueprint to the craftsman. With his experience, he really made it. The first family in Linshui was working on a certain house at night when no one was there. The old man lived in a 2-story house. It was more convenient, so he fixed it first. He didn't expect the old man to have so many things to consider. The old man became interested when he talked about this. He said to the two of them, "When you go back, let your family think about this little thing and see what it can be used for. When the time comes, it will benefit your family, especially Xiao Bao's father. If he has more credit, he will have an excuse to be promoted in the future. Otherwise, people will not accept such a young job." "Ah, it is still early. No matter what, we have to make Huayuan County into Shan County. It will take at least 2 years, Zhang Xiaobao said. Chapter 371. It was another sunny day. Today more people came to between the clouds and the water than before. Some people who thought they were talented all came here to participate in the competition. The original rule of the competition was for the students who had failed to qualify to participate. However, after some people heard about this, they went to Shuiyun Club. No one knew who they were looking for, but they randomly pulled a worker over and said that they wanted to participate. They were even willing to fork out some money. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took it seriously. It didn't matter if the people came to take the money or not. As long as they participated in this competition, people like them would definitely not come alone. Rich people were very likely to be able to call friends. In order to attract more people, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan discussed for a while and decided to increase the prize money for winning the competition by a large margin. Winning in a group would get 2 strings of coins per person, and based on the individual ranking, the first place would get 100 strings of coins and 2 sets of the 4 treasures of the study. In order to let more people have time to come, the competition was delayed for another 10 days. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also went back home and arranged for the coal mine. They let their father collect money, 1 copper coin per ton of coal, and they also gave the village 1 copper coin. The village would have to pay another tax. This way, the yamen would have more money. A ton of coal was 2,000 caddies. It was not much when piled up on the ground. A stone of rice was about 100 caddies. A stone of coal could be filled with 160 to 70 caddies. Because of the density, if it was only filled with coal, it would be more. Roughly, a ton of coal would cost more than 20 copper coins. This price was not low, but now each place was in charge of some resources, including salt. If they thought it was not worth it, then don't pick it. When the time came, when the pressure was too much, they could bargain and do a favor. Zhang Xiaobao also knew that the current price of coal was very low compared to when he and Wang Wan came. Zhang Xiaobao prepared to earn 7 to 8 copper coins for a ton of coal. He deliberately set the price of 20 copper coins to give people a chance to bargain. No matter who wanted the coal, they would have to find someone with enough coal. Those below the 5th rank could not even think about it. These officials came to ask for favors, so naturally, they had to do a favor. Even if half of them were willing to return the favor, it would be easier for his father in the future. Today Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came to Zhuangzi again. The competition started at noon today. People came and went, and it was very lively here. The restaurants between the clouds and the water were all occupied. Some smart people actually spent money to occupy a few, and then sold them to others. When Zhang Xiaobao heard about this, he just smiled. Scalpers existed at any time. Those courtyards that were suitable for people to live in were not empty. Some people could not find a place to live, so they could only go to the nearest Zhuangzi. The villagers had houses, but it was a pity that the villagers in Gujiao village had not built houses yet. The houses were crowded, and only 1 or 2 were available, which was far from enough to meet the demand. This was Xiaobao's idea. He did it on purpose. Every day, the competition would start at noon. After lunch, they would be able to go and watch the competition. Furthermore, the competition was divided into the preliminaries and the finals. There were 4 competitions, which added up to 20 days. Those who participated in the competition did not have to worry. There was free food and a place to rest. As for those who wanted to watch the fun, those who had money could stay from the beginning to the end. Those who did not have money could only watch according to the competition, especially those who were close to it. Grandpa Bai, did you see that? Our culture is flourishing. From today on, the academy will become famous. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, the old man Lu Er, and Exionaire were all on the roof of between the clouds and the water. Looking at the people coming and going, Zhang Xiaobao stood up and said loudly. The old man naturally would not be fooled so easily. He looked at the people below and said, "Our culture is flourishing too. How much did your family earn this time? The restaurants and accommodation are all full. Many people have no place to stay. Tell me, how much did you earn from the advertisements? You put up flags and put up banners. Grandpa Bai, you've wronged us. We don't earn much from advertisements. Look at the advertisement for Purple Bamboo Pavilion. They have the most and biggest flags, and the banner is placed in the most obvious position. It's about the same for the 4 Directions Clothing Company's advertisement. My family even used boats to advertise for the meat and grain companies. We only took 100 strings of cash from each of these places, which is just enough to make the advertisements. The rest is for the labor. We did not take any money from the advertisements. How can we make any money?" Zhang Xiaobao said to the old man with a wronged expression. The old man did not know about this matter. He asked Zhang Xiaobao in confusion, "Why did you not take money? Do you want to do something good?" Zhang Xiaobao shook his head like a rattledrum and said, "Who wants to do something good? It's all for you, Grandpa Bai. You are now the dean of Jianjia Academy. Look, there are so many people here. Won't you take in 300 to 500 students? My family is afraid that after you take in so many students, we will not have enough money to make clothes and food. We can't even afford the mung bean soup and charcoal in winter. What will happen to the academy then? We can only ask for less advertising money, and let them take out half a year's worth of necessities for the academy. For example, the 4 treasures of the study will be taken care of by Purple Bamboo Pavilion. For example, the meat store will send fresh meat every day. For example, the clothing store. They are responsible for making clothes, aren't they? The necessities are enough for the academy, and we can't ask for money. All of it will be included in the advertising fee. That is to say, half a year's worth of necessities for the academy will be settled by this advertisement. You don't need to spend any money. After half a year, you can compare with other places. In only 20 days, you can earn half a year's worth of necessities for the academy. Your family is really good at making money. It seems that your father should work in the Ministry of Revenue. The old man did not wait for Zhang Xiaobao to finish, and continued his words. At first, he was thinking about how much money the Zhang family would spend on the academy. Now he did not need to worry about that. The Zhang family had their own way of making money. Zhang Xiaobao nodded embarrassedly and explained, "Grandpa Bai, you can't say that. In fact, we don't need them to provide the necessities. We can just use the advertising fee. The main thing is that every time we buy, we have to negotiate the price. The price of the meat is not fixed. That is to say, my family is using the advertising fee to buy the necessities in advance instead of getting the necessities for free. If my family received the money in one go, we could use it to make more money. We are just afraid that they can't pay in one go. So we use the method of paying in installments. The necessities of the academy will be paid by my family." The old man thought about it and agreed. However, he was interested in paying in installments. He asked, "Can other things be done in installments?" "Yes, but not now. Flying money is only used for bulk transactions. There are also pawnshops and loan sharks. Their original profits are high, so they don't need to pay in installments. Some loan sharks are actually using installments to collect money. Every time a certain period comes and the family can't pay back the money, they will give a portion of the money first. Speaking of responsibility, I don't really understand either. I'll tell Grandpa by when I learn." Zhang Xiaobao originally wanted to mention the matter of the bank. He did not work in the bank, but he knew the internal situation. He had to use it in the past, but he suddenly realized that it was not appropriate to say it now. His family could not gain much from it, and it could easily affect the interests of others, so he had to stop. The old man did not continue to ask this time. He felt that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan knew so much. It was impossible for them to know more. It depended on what the Zhang family taught them. They continued to watch from the rooftop. The old man was deeply impressed by the Zhang family's way of making money. Every day it would start after noon. Naturally, there would be nothing in the morning. It was impossible for people to stay in their places and not move, not to mention that the scenery here was so good. Renting a boat to play in the water for a while, or going to the mountains to take a look, and buy some things along the way could let the Zhang family earn a lot of money. There was also the market, which usually started in the afternoon. Since there were more people coming, there were people setting up stalls in the morning before dawn. There was also the grocery store. No one knew where it got so many goods, but it was also on display. Naturally, the people who came here to play would not be like ordinary people, exchanging things for things. They could only buy things with money, especially some exquisite trinkets. They were all collected. When they were collected, they were cheap. Now that they were sold, the price could be doubled. With all kinds of snacks and ice money, the Zhang family would probably earn a few thousand strings of coins in 20 days, maybe even more. There were crosstalk and skits at night. If they wanted to watch them, they would have to spend money. Zhang Xiaobao was also calculating how much money they could earn. After he calculated, it was more than what the old man thought. These days, he transferred a lot of medicine from other places. He also asked someone to go to the hospital to find a doctor. The doctor would be here in a while. When the doctor came, he would examine the people who came here for free. If they were in good health, he would recommend health supplements to them first, including food therapy. If they were not in good health, he would treat them directly. It was just right that they could stay here for 20 days. The diagnosis was free, but they would have to pay to buy the medicine. The restaurant could also directly promote a few kinds of medicinal cuisine. Those who did not have much money would drink the medicine directly, while those who had more money would eat the medicinal cuisine. The medicine was bad, but the medicinal cuisine was not bad. In this way, plus the health supplements they bought before leaving, they would probably still have a few thousand strings of coins left after giving some money to Li Sun and Zhuangzi of the Ge family. Xiaobao, Do you think your family's method of earning money can be used elsewhere? The old man felt that if it was possible, he should let people try it elsewhere. The businessmen had money in their hands. If he did not earn from them, who would he earn from? In particular, he could let the imperial court do this. When the imperial court had more money, he could do something. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. As long as you choose the right place and make the necessary preparations, it can be used with a little modification. In a few days, we will also do it in Huayuan County. However, it will not be a matter of the students. We won't be able to earn too much, but there will be a lot of benefits. What are you doing? The old man asked curiously. It's a medical competition. It's best to let some medical doctors from Beijing participate, Zhang Xiaobao replied. Chapter 372. Afternoon, the competition began. Everyone was looking forward to it. Both the original students and those who joined later were slightly nervous. Some people even felt more nervous than during the imperial examinations. There were too many people watching. After their identities were verified, they took their competition numbers and walked into the academy. The academy was a one-story building, but it occupied a large area. There were even some fertile fields. The Yamen had made fake land deeds for them. While the others went in, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan got a boat and floated on the lake. The two of them did not want to see others compose poems. This kind of impromptu poem with a proposition was rarely outstanding. They did not want to suffer. The old man went over. He still had to see who could enter the academy. Lu, and Xian Air were also brought along by the old man. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan went to the lake to play and see how the competition was going. If there was nothing else, the two of them would return to Huayuan County early the next morning. The construction there was one after another. The two of them were afraid that their father would be too busy and had to go back to help. Looking at the water, I want to jump in and float there instead of sitting on the boat. Zhang Xiaobao narrowed his eyes and looked at the sunlight reflecting on the water. He felt stuffy and hot. It would be very comfortable to swim in the water. Wang Wan didn't feel anything at first, but after hearing what Zhang Xiaobao said, she started to feel hot. There was a shelter on the boat that the two of them were rowing. It blocked most of the sunlight, but the wind that blew was not as cool as the surface of the lake. It was also hot and stuffy. Xiaobao stopped talking. Why don't we go back to Zhuangzi? There's a swimming pool there. We can swim there for a while, and then sleep. Wang Wan reached into the water and paddled a few times. This time, she finally felt cool. Okay. The two of them were playing on the lake when waves of shouts came from the direction of the academy. They did not know how many people were shouting, but they could hear it from so far away. Forget it. Let's go back to Zhuangzi. There are movements here too. Zhang Xiaobao had been rowing for less than an hour when he heard the cheers from time to time. He was a little annoyed, mainly because the weather was too hot, making it difficult for him to calm down. The two of them rowed the boat to the dock between the clouds and the water, and together they walked towards Zhuangzi. The main courtyard there was not abandoned, and there were still people there to clean it. As they walked along the road, they saw the villagers walking in a hurry, and they quickly left after greeting them. Xiaobao, it seems that the farmers have earned quite a bit of money this time. They are all two-story houses and there are quite a few rooms. Renting out a room for 10 copper coins a day is not much. I can smell the strong smell of stewed chicken. Did the farmers decide to stew chicken for their people at noon? After all, there are so many poultry here. Wang Wan sniffed twice and said. Zhang Xiaobao also smelled the strong smell. If only one family cooked it, it would not have been able to survive for so long after eating. He smiled and said, it seems that the farmers want to deal with some of the chickens. Stewing chicken every day for 20 days. I don't know if those people will get sick from eating it. It's scary just thinking about it. Wang Wan thought of the situation of eating chicken every day, covered her mouth and laughed softly. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, the chickens we raise here are sold in different parts except for laying eggs. Although the price is not cheap, we can't make them into finished products and sell them to make money. Why don't we think of a way? Think of what? Roast chicken? That's fine, but we need to have a market first. Otherwise, if no one buys the roast chicken, It will be ruined at home. Who likes to eat roast chicken? It's best if it can be preserved for a longer time. Without vacuum equipment, it won't work even if we freeze it. In the past, when the chickens were big, we could kill them and freeze them to sell. If the roast chicken is frozen, what will it taste like? When Zhang Xiaobao thought of the finished product processing, the image of roast chicken flashed in his mind. Wang Wan thought about the frozen roast chicken and said, I don't think it's a big deal. If it's frozen, it's frozen. The smell has already entered the chicken. When the time comes, if you want to eat cold, you can eat cold. If you want to eat hot, you can steam it. In addition to roast chicken, there is also smoking chicken. You can use some burning wood chips to smoke it. Zhang Xiaobao sold 13 spices, so he knew some recipes. It was a mess. Basically, the methods were different in every place, but the general ingredients were similar. When he heard Wang Wan's words, he nodded and said, Then let's do both to increase the income of the farmers. Then, have you thought about how to sell it? Even if it's frozen, it can't be stored for too long. Otherwise, the price of one chicken won't be enough to cover the cost of the cold. Wang Wan also mentioned the problem of sales. Zhang Xiaobao said confidently, Stupid people will directly roast and smoke the chicken in Zhuangzi before selling it. Can we open the roast chicken shop and the smoked chicken shop elsewhere, and carry out the roast there? We can make more adjustments and see what flavors the people in the place like. We can specially cook according to what the people in that place like to eat. Zhuangzi is responsible for delivering chickens to various places. Now that Zhuangzi is only planting rice, it's much more leisurely than before. We can let some of them go to other shops. It's like what we said before. We won't limit them to Zhuangzi. We can provide them with the recipes and ingredients. When the time comes, we only need 10% of the net profit. 10% of the profit for each shop is like a membership fee. Let's make it cheaper and not so much. The money we collect from 9 shops is the same as the money from one shop. Let's open shops in the entire prefecture first. When it's about time, we don't have to worry. There will naturally be people who want to learn or buy the recipes. Let's try and see if there are such people. If there are, we'll let them join. We'll sell them the chickens and the seasonings. We can't take the net profit because we don't have that many accountants to calculate how much they've sold the chickens for. We can only add the price to the seasonings. Zhang Xiaobao actually didn't expect many outsiders to join. If there were, he would take them. If there weren't, he could just use the village to sell them, especially those who were in a hurry. If they bought a roast chicken, they could eat it as both a meal and a dish. It was convenient. It was even more so for boaters. They could eat it at any time. They could even hold a chicken leg in their mouth while working. The cost was low, so it wouldn't be too expensive. The chickens also didn't need to be raised that big. Although most roast and smoked chickens were roosters, hens could also be made. Chicks could be raised for 3 months before they could be used for cooking. They could be sold by weight and could be bought in half. Half a chicken would cost about 20 copper coins. It wasn't expensive at all. A chicken that laid eggs could be sold for a few dozen copper coins. Who would say that the chicken hadn't laid eggs yet and couldn't be sold for such a high price when they bought a roast chicken? Wang Wan had also thought of this point. If they did this, they could raise the chickens for a short period of time. As long as they sold the chickens quickly, they would earn more money than waiting for them to lay eggs. The chickens that laid eggs had to be specially supplemented with calcium. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to lay eggs or they would be soft-shelled eggs. The ordinary people in the area might eat less, but they could specially open their shops in places with high traffic. Xiaobao, since chickens can be smoked, then we can also use a better method to smoke the meat. The people here who have some money don't like to eat pork. First, it's because there aren't many people who usually raise pigs. Unless it's at the foot of the mountain where they can cut some pigweed to feed the pigs, people won't be able to eat, let alone feed the pigs. Another reason is that pigs always like to roll around in the mud. Even their feces and urine will be stained on their bodies. But after all, there are still people who eat it, especially the ordinary people. They can't eat other kinds of meat. The fatty parts of the pork can be oily, and the lean parts can also be used as food. We can get people to smoke it and sell it to such people. I think that the feces of poultry can be fed to the pigs. In addition to the grass on the mountain, there won't be a need for too much food. The pig feces can also be used to feed the fish and raise the earthworms. When we go to Huayuan County, we can leave this matter to the farmers and provide them with ideas. What do you think? Of course, why not? Even if we fail in the end, we won't lose too much money. People always have to try again and again. Maybe the farmers will be able to come up with more ideas. We'll do this when we go back. Let's not swim for now. Zhang Xiaobao agreed with this idea very much. At first, he also thought of something like this, but he was delayed by other things and didn't have time to do it. After the pork was smoked, it tasted good. Moreover, it was different from the smoked chicken. After smoking the chicken, it couldn't be scattered after smoking. That way, people would specially choose a good place to buy it. After the pork was smoked, it could be cut into slices or made into strips and turned into smoked pork jerky. It could be stored for a long time and was convenient to carry around. When they went out, they would bring some with them. It was better than the smoked meat and the kind that was directly smoked here. The rich people didn't eat it, but they also didn't sell it to them. Because of an idea, the two people who had been idle began to work again. Zhang Xiaobao wanted to mix ingredients. Some of the ingredients that he didn't have, he had to replace them with other similar ingredients. After this kind of prescription was mixed, it was too difficult for outsiders to distinguish it by taste. Many spices were not used at all by people nowadays. They were only sold in medicine shops as medicinal materials. All kinds of medicinal materials were ground into powder, and then some spices were added. Unless a doctor who was proficient in cooking carefully tasted it, there might be some hope. However, Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't give this opportunity to someone who was both a cook and a doctor. According to the different prescriptions, the spices were mixed into the wine or soy sauce. Even if they couldn't be mixed, they would be taken out separately and mixed with some neutral spices that didn't affect the taste. Zhang Xiaobao was in charge of concocting, and each time he concocted a sack of it, Wang Wan would write down the manufacturing method. When the time came, all she had to do was give it to the villagers in the farmstead. Some of the villagers could read a few words by now, but even if they couldn't, it was fine. The children in the farmstead were all studying in school. After a lot of work, the sky was already dark. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan found the people in the inner courtyard who stayed behind, and asked them to bring the oven. They were going to roast a few animals first. At the same time, they were going to let the farmers see what they were going to sell in the future. When the two of them were busy, they didn't feel hot. Now that they stopped, they realized that they were sweating. Chapter 373. The summer weather changed quickly. Before going to bed last night, they could still see the stars in the sky, but when they woke up in the morning, it was already covered with dark clouds. However, there was no wind, which made it hard for them to breathe. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan ate breakfast with the old man. They brought him a roasted chicken and a smoked chicken. Xiaobao, cuckoo, it seems that you are ready to go back. It may rain today. If you want to go back, you should leave early in case you encounter a storm on the river. I have already thought of the topic for today's competition, rain. They may still be thinking about today's topic last night. The old man broke off a chicken wing and nodded as he spoke to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not comment on the old man. As a minister, he actually bullied the students. It seemed that the old man liked this feeling. They did not know how the children in the academy would live in the future. Perhaps the old man would come up with an idea to torment them. Grandpa, bye, we really have to go. We don't need to look after things here. The others are already doing a good job. Grandpa, bye, if you think this chicken is delicious, you can have the people from Aqua Cloud Room serve it to you. Remember not to eat too much. Things that have been smoked or roasted are always not as good as usual. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the gloomy sky outside and said to the old man. Wang Wan also added, Grandpa, bye, when you find it hard to breathe, open your mouth to the fan and breathe hard. You will feel much better. Okay, I will remember. Don't forget to write a letter when you go back. Don't worry about the academy. I can handle this. Eat quickly and leave early after eating. The old man listened to their words and said with relief. After a quarter of an hour, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan left between the clouds and the water by boat. They followed the river and quickly went downstream. At this time, the gloomy atmosphere changed. The whistling wind made the river ripple. Raise the sail, raise the sail. Seeing the wind, Zhang Xiaobao shouted excitedly. Boats on this kind of small river usually did not need sails. Occasionally, a sail would be pulled out from a boat, especially when it was going against the current. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's boat was specially made. There was a sail on it and a rudder at the back, which was much better than other boats. When the boatman heard the young master say to raise the sail, he had no choice but to raise it. However, he did not raise it fully, only half of it. In such a strong wind, the boat could easily capsize. Once the sail was raised, the jib made use of the wind to push the boat faster. There were several times when the boat flew out of the water. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood at the bow of the boat. Each of them tied a rope around their waist, and the other end of the rope was tied to the mast. This was not requested by the boatman, but by the two of them. They did not want to experience the feeling of being rescued. What a strong wind. I'm in such a good mood. It would be even better if the sky was a little darker and the wind was a little stronger. Wang Wan opened her arms and said excitedly as she felt the wind blowing. Zhang Xiaobao felt the same. Yes, this kind of time makes people a little scared. When facing such majestic weather, there is an underlying thought that does not admit defeat. Zhang Xiaobao also opened his arms and closed his eyes, experiencing the feeling of flying. After taking a few deep breaths, Wang Wan asked Xiaobao again, "The issue with Buxing hasn't been resolved yet. They've already collected quite a lot of food. You wouldn't ask them to change their profession to become grain merchants, right? The Chens have helped us this time. How should we repay them?" Yes, they are still collecting grain. Zhang Xiaobao seemed to have just remembered. He patted his forehead and said, "We have to think of a way. Those grains are useless in their hands. If they dare to sell them, they will definitely be attacked by the grain merchants. It is better to transfer them to the grain merchants at a fair price. We will compensate them." Buxing, what can Buxing do? Now, it's like they've ordered the sales in advance. When our big ships come out, there's no need. Now some big ships have been taken over by the Jing River. I want them to prepare more sails so that our big ships can sail around the coastal waters near the mouth of the Yellow River. Zhang Xiaobao had indeed forgotten about the matter of the Chens for a few days. The people of the grain merchants were too weak. They were defeated with just one trick. It turned out that they were planning to prolong the war. I thought that the head of the Chen family would reject us, but he actually agreed so readily. It seems that ever since your father became the county magistrate, he hasn't had a single peaceful day, Zhang Xiaoying said. That's fine too. I thought that the head of the Chen family would reject us, but he actually agreed so quickly. After hearing Zhang Xiaobao's idea, Wang Wan felt that it was a good idea. If they sold the grains to the grain merchants at the purchase price, the grain merchants would not suffer a loss. The weather was hot, and there were more people eating noodles. They could take the opportunity to grind the grains into noodles and sell them. They could also make more money than usual. In the past, all the grains here were collected by the grain merchants. At worst, when the grain merchants transported grains to the northwest, the grain merchants would give them some benefits. Now that they had a grain merchant, they gave the majority of the profits to Li Sun. However, Li Sun would not kick them away. In the future, they would use the grain merchants as if they were his own family. With the help of the wind and the water, the ship arrived at the dock in 3 hours. Seeing Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan get off the ship and stand at the dock, the boatmen on the ship had time to wipe the cold sweat on their foreheads. This journey was like flying. It was too fast. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not care whether the others were frightened or not. The two of them were looking at the road from the dock. There were many people working diligently. It seemed that the road was different every day. Even if it was going to rain, the road workers did not have the slightest intention to stop. They had already put on their bamboo hats and put their straw raincoats beside them. It seemed that these people were going to continue working in the rain. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan knew that it would be useless to try and persuade them, so they boarded the carriage and gave the driver some instructions. The driver drove the carriage towards Huayuan County's Yamen at a leisurely pace. On the way, It started to rain heavily. The lightning lit up the sky. Along with the rolling thunder, bean-sized raindrops fell to the ground. With the sound of splashing, a layer of mist appeared on the ground. The dry heat and stuffiness of summer were all gone at this time. The wind carried the cool breeze everywhere. What a heavy rain! The speed of all the projects will be slowed down again. The coal mining will also have to stop. Hope it comes and goes quickly. Otherwise, if the water accumulates too much, it will easily become a flood. Wang Wan said worriedly. She opened the wooden board that was just closed to block the window. A gust of wind came in with the rain. She hurriedly closed the window and let down the curtain. I remember that there is no flood at this time. It should continue to be dry for a while. Zhang Xiaobao leaned against the wall of the carriage and recalled. Maybe there is no record. Let's sleep. It is comfortable to sleep in this kind of weather. When we wake up, we will almost be home. Wang Wan did not care about this matter. She lay down and closed her eyes. Then let's sleep. Zhang Xiaobao yawned and fell asleep on the other side. Zhang Zhong did not know that his son and daughter-in-law were on the way back. He was now urging people to fill the sacks with sand. He asked a few local elders, and they all said that the rain would last for at least 3 days. Zhang Zhong was not worried about the river that was connected. When the river was connected, it had already been repaired. He was afraid that the river at Yawang Mountain would burst. In that case, there would be no need to manually repair a lake. A large lake would directly form there. But there were more than 3,000 people living there. There were also temporary houses, tents, and other supplies. If there was a flood, they would all be gone. It would also make the road repair work unable to continue. Therefore, before the rain started to fall, Zhang Zhong led a group of people to transport a lot of burlap sacks to that place. There were still some burlap sacks there. Zhang Zhong left behind the transport team behind and rode his horse all the way. Finally, they arrived at the place before lightning and thunder appeared. He ordered people to stop the road repair work and rush to the river. There, he began to fill the sacks, in case there was a flood and they were unprepared. In addition to filling the sacks with sand and stones, some wood from the mountain was also transported down. Someone took a saw and began sawing out the trunk. When the time came, they would nail it into the river. Otherwise, the sacks would not be able to withstand the current. Once one was thrown into the river, another would be washed away. It could only be used under the condition of wooden stakes. Master, I think this river should be fine. The water is still shallow. Why don't we let them do it first? Master, you should take a rest. If something really happens, we'll have to rely on you to take charge here. After the rain fell, the yamen runner in the inner courtyard tried to hold an umbrella over Zhang Zhong's head and advised in a low voice. Zhang Zhong reached out and held the handle of the umbrella. He looked at the people working and nodded. It's fine now, but I can't guarantee that it will be fine in the future. It's good to take a rest. I hope nothing will happen. Master, you are a literary star from heaven. If you say nothing will happen, then nothing will happen. Master, be careful. The yamen runner said. The place where he stood happened to block the blowing wind. In just a short while, his back was wet from the rain. When Zhang Zhong walked to the door of a room, he suddenly remembered something. He ordered one of the guards, go back to the yamen immediately and tell them to load the coal in the warehouse onto the cart and bring it here. Remember to cover it with oilcloth and don't let it get wet. Once it rains, we have to go into the house to cook. The firewood on the mountain can't be used. We can't eat it raw. It will be fine after a few days. Go quickly. The guard did not delay. He turned over and mounted the horse. Wearing only a bamboo hat, he whipped his whip and galloped away. His figure disappeared in the rain in the blink of an eye. Everyone else, don't be idle. The wind is strong. Be careful of the tents being blown away. See if any of the houses are leaking. Quickly plug it. Zhang Zhong still did not enter the house and shouted at the door. The yamen runners immediately ran to check the tents and houses. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were also awakened by the continuous sound of thunder at this time. They lay there, unable to sleep, and stared at each other. Chapter 374. Midway through the journey, they joked about the lake. pointing out the mountains and rivers, carefree and unrestrained. Where should we dig? It's raining so heavily. Aren't you afraid that the water will flood the fields? Wang Wan advised worriedly as she listened to Zhang Xiaobao's crazy words. There's no fields. We planted a lot of wheat there and harvested it long ago. The land is empty. If we don't dig the lake out now, it'll be hard to work when the rain clears up. Zhang Xiaobao insisted. Even if the river flooded, there couldn't be too much water. Wouldn't a lake be enough to fill it? It could reduce the pressure downstream. Wang Wan wanted to persuade him again. She opened her mouth but couldn't find a reason. She could only say, "Then where do you want to dig the hole? Don't let it wash away the construction site. We'll see when the time comes. Let's go home first and persuade my father. Send someone to the coal mine to tell all the excavation teams to stop. No matter if it's the people from Elm Village who help us dig, or the people who came to help us, no one is allowed to work. If something happens, we'll regret it for the rest of our lives. Yes, we have to stop. Although it's still an open-air excavation, who can guarantee that there's no fault in the coal? If there's a hole, it'll be fine on a normal day, but if it collapses on a rainy day, there won't be enough time to rescue it. It'll be like quicksand, gone in the blink of an eye." Wang Wan wasn't the kind of person who didn't care about the lives of others for money. Her family had a lot of business and didn't lack the money for coal. Zhang Xiaobao thought for a moment and said, "Even if the rain stops, they can't start work for a while. There's definitely a lot of water in the hole. Without a pump, we can only wait for the water to seep in slowly. It's too dangerous to let people draw the water bit by bit. The county and Elm Village will have to pay less." Wang Wan nodded. She suddenly thought of something else. "Since we've stopped, why don't we do something else? I'll teach Huzi how to train military discipline first. Then I'll find some strong young men from Elm Village for Huzi to train. The last time I went there, the young men were all good. Do whatever you want. Remember to pay them. I don't know anything about this. What about our original healthy seedling protection team?" Zhang Xiaobao saw that Wang Wan couldn't wait to train, so he let her. "There's nothing we can do. We'll continue to leave them at the farmstead. In the future, the seeds and land there should be better and better, better than the fields. If someone goes there with bad intentions, they can come in handy." Wang Wan actually felt a little uncomfortable when she saw that her father always brought the guards of the Wang mansion with him when he went out. What if some of the guards were bribed by someone else? Even Li Sun didn't know about them. It wouldn't be good for the family if they knew too much. As the carriage moved with difficulty, the two couldn't sleep. They began to talk about various things. When they talked about Zhuangzi, they also analyzed the flood resistance ability there. The conclusion was that there was no problem. There were some small channels connecting it. As long as there was water, it would be sent to the river. The lightning didn't stop and the thunder didn't stop. Usually, it would take them at least half a day to finish the journey. Because of the heavy rain, they didn't arrive at the yamen until 4 in the afternoon. They turned to the back door. As soon as they got off the carriage, they saw people rushing out and asking about the dangers on the road. The two of them were busy replying. After everyone had asked, they started talking about Zhang Zhong. "Ah, my father went to Yawang Mountain? Then we have to go too. There's something important." When Zhang Xiaobao heard that his father wasn't at the yamen, he pulled Wang Wan and walked outside. He changed the handle of the carriage and said to his mother, "Mother, you have to tell the yamen runners to spread out and look around the county. If there's a house that can't withstand the flood, immediately arrange for someone to repair it." Zhang Wang clan agreed. Looking at the backs of her son and daughter-in-law getting on the carriage, she wanted to say something. In the end, she sighed. When she turned and walked back, she said to Wang Wan's mother, "These two children have a busy life. They have to be busy when there's something." "Sister, you're right. We'll wait until everything in the county is settled before we can have some free time." Wang Wan's mother also sighed. At Yawang Mountain, the people working there were still working hard to pack the sacks. The river had risen a lot. If it continued to rise at this rate, then by tomorrow morning, the river would overflow the embankment. At this time, Zhang Zhong didn't have the leisure to rest. He stood on the embankment and watched. He only wore a bamboo hat on his head, and didn't wear a straw raincoat. He let the rain hit his body and stood motionless for half an hour. Master, there's nothing to do here. Why don't we go somewhere else? Master, you'll get sick if you stand like this. How can I explain it to the young master? The yamen runner followed Zhang Zhong step by step. He had also stood there for half an hour. Several times he wanted to put an umbrella on the master's head, but the master refused. This was not the first time he tried to persuade him. Zhang Zhong and Wei Wei shook their heads. They even took off their clothes because they thought the straw raincoats and bamboo hats were a hindrance. They worked in the rain with bare arms and said, "It's okay. This rain won't make me sick. I usually eat the kind that strengthens the body. Do you think the water will rise?" "I don't know. It doesn't look like it will rise." "Master, you'd better go and dry the clothes." When this little one entered the yamen, the young master told this little one to take care of master's matters. "Master, if you don't hide, this little one will help you carry them back even if I have to carry them." The yamen runner was really anxious. After persuading him again, he prepared to do it. Zhang Zhong didn't wait for him to do it. He turned around and asked, "What do you think Xiao Bao will do if he is here?" "Ah, master, are you talking about the young master? If the little young master was here, then this lowly one would not be in a hurry." The little young master was very resourceful and capable. Even if the sky collapsed, with the little young master around, this lowly one would not be worried. The little young master would definitely be able to withstand it. The difference between an ordinary person and the little young master was like the difference between heaven and earth. Master, I'm not saying that you're not good enough. I'm saying that the little young master is smart, but sometimes when he does things he's actually quite good. It's like this. The little young master, he is really not bad. Master, I'm not talking about you. The yamen runner had a crazy trust in the young master. When he heard the master mention the young master, he felt that he had overdone it, so he quickly explained. Zhang Zhong waved his hand and smiled. He turned his head to look at the river and said to the yamen runner, "If Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are here, I don't have to worry. I can find a place to take shelter from the rain, drink some hot soup, and chat with others. I won't be in such a hurry. Unfortunately, they are in Zhuangzi. Even if I send a fast horse now, they will only come back tomorrow noon or later. The rain is heavy, so it's difficult to travel. Master, can we send someone to ask the young master and young lady and pass the method back? We can't let the young master and young lady come back in the middle of the night. The river is so dark, and it's very dangerous with the wind and rain." The yamen runner was also regretful, but he gave an idea. The young master couldn't go, but others could. He believed that the young master and young lady would be able to tell the method directly without needing to ask for the purpose. The yamen runner was sure in his heart. The two young masters were like gods to him. Zhang Zhong shook his head, thought about it, and nodded. "Fine, then send a few people to go by fast horse and go by land. Don't you think I'm too useless? I have to worry about the children. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are also busy over there." "How can master be useless? Master is a kind person and loves the people as his own children. Master can rush to the front when there is a problem. Master is not greedy for a single copper coin. Master's most amazing thing is that he gave birth to the young master. This lowly one doesn't know much, but I understand that a person who knows when to advance and retreat is a powerful person. Master has handed the matters of the family to Madam, and has never interfered." This lowly one thought about it, and thought that master knows that he can't manage the family well. Master let the young master and young lady do the work of making money and giving ideas. This is true ability. To say something disrespectful, no matter how capable the emperor is, he can't do something by himself. Whoever should do it will do it. Young lady also said that each profession has its own specialization. Master doesn't need to think about other things. Master just needs to do his own thing well. That's ability. This time the yamen runner was speaking the truth. If he were to talk about the people in the main house that he listened to the most, it was naturally the young master and young lady. If he were to talk about the person he was most afraid of, it was the madam of the main house. But if he were to talk about the person he respected the most, it was none other than the master. Zhang Zhong was just asking out of boredom. In fact, that was what he was thinking as well. He didn't expect that the person who was always by his side doing chores would actually say such a thing. It seemed that there was a difference between learning and not learning. The people in the inner courtyard had studied for 2 years. Every one of them was able to do some reliable things when they were released. Thinking of this, Zhang Zhong chuckled. He looked at the Yamen runner and said, "What have you learned recently?" In reply to Master, "This lowly one is reading about the mean when I have free time." This lowly one's favorite phrase is, "If a country has principles, it will not change. If a country has no principles, it will not change until it dies. If a country has no principles, it will not change until it dies." This lowly one asked the madam of the main house. After knowing what it means, this lowly one pondered that if this is true for the country, it should also be true for the main house. The Yamen runner really didn't fall behind in learning. After hearing the master's question, he immediately followed and expressed his loyalty. "Good, it's really good. In the future, read more and learn more. If you don't understand, ask me. If I also don't understand, then find someone to ask." Zhang Zhong was very happy in his heart. Which servant in the inner courtyard could casually say such words? Someone in the Zhang family could. The Yamen runner wiped the water on his face and said, "Master, how can you not know? Master, you are the top scorer. Any one of our Zhang family is better than others, especially the main house. They are all capable." "Yes, they are capable. But the capable people are not here. Can they come up?" Zhang Zhong returned to reality. The rain was still heavy and the river had not stopped. Chapter 375. The water level in the river was still rising. It seemed to be rising very slowly. If one stared at it with their eyes, they could barely see the extent of the rise. However, every 2 hours, they would find that the water level had risen a little. The sky that was filled with dark clouds seemed to be even darker. Even though it was not night yet, the people on the shore were still there filling up the sand and stones. Zhang Zhong had already gone back to the fire once. A part of his clothes was dry, but a part was still wet. The heavy rain did not have the slightest intention of stopping. Zhang Zhong once again stood on the embankment. "Master, if the water level really rises, where do you think it will break?" The bailiff's heart was tightly gripped at this moment. In a short 4 hours, the water level had risen another inch. As long as it rose another 4 inches, the lower part of the embankment would not be able to stop the flood. How could Zhang Zhongshang know where the water level would break if it didn't drop? He could only force himself to be calm and said, "When the time comes, we'll see which place is dangerous. We'll get people to nail the stakes there and pile up the sandbags." The bailiff nodded blankly. He did not have any good ideas. He could only save the place where it was dangerous. Just as they were talking, water began to seep out of a section of the embankment. The seeping was not much, but under such heavy rain it could be seen. "Master, master, here is the water, master." A person in charge of monitoring the situation saw the situation and hurriedly shouted at Zhang Zhong. At this time, a clap of thunder sounded, causing the person's shout to be much softer. However, such a soft voice, in the ears of everyone, was louder than the clap of thunder that day. Zhang Zhong turned his head to look, and his feet also moved. As he ran, he shouted, "Where is it? Don't be afraid. Come, bring the stakes over. Sandbags, sandbags." The person who was arranged to carry the stakes did not dare to be negligent. He carried the sharp stakes and ran over. The people who were guarding the sandbags also immediately carried sandbags and rushed over. Nail it for me. If there is a break, use people to block it. Take a rope, tie one person to one person. If we die together." Zhang Zhong changed from his frail appearance. He took off his official robes, rolled up his sleeves, and stepped forward. The Yamen runner was so scared that he hugged Zhang Zhong. "Your Excellency, you can't go down. These people are still waiting for your order. This humble one will go down. Let this humble one do it. This humble one can swim and is not afraid of this. Your Excellency, please put on your clothes. We haven't made a decision yet." The commoners were stunned for a moment. Only when they heard the bailiff's words did they react. They didn't care if the dam was about to burst. They rushed up and smashed the wooden stakes with all their strength on the inside of the river. The ropes on the other side were also prepared. One by one, bare-chested young men were tied up one after another, waiting to block the dam when it burst. After a quarter of an hour, the tense atmosphere was finally relieved. After the wood was nailed in and the sandbags were thrown in, everyone was no longer as worried as before, even though there was still water seeping out of this section. The 2 rows of wooden stakes were smashed into the river, and sandbags were piled inside. For a while, there was no danger here. The bailiff took the official robes that Zhang Zhong had just taken off, and wanted to put it on for Zhang Zhong. It wasn't easy to put on this kind of official robes. When Zhang Zhong took it off, it had already been torn. He could only drape it over his body. After being soaked by the water, there was some mud on it. He didn't look much better than a beggar, but it was this kind of official robes that was the real official robes in the eyes of the commoners. Even if it wasn't very decent, even if Zhang Zhong looked very embarrassed, in the eyes of the commoners, Zhang Zhong was a county magistrate. He had more authority than the other county magistrates. Zhang Zhong was also scared for a while. He was really anxious just now and wanted to help. Now that he had calmed down, he ordered, "Send people to guard the other places. Absolutely do not allow any breach." The commoners were very obedient and let people check the places one by one. The bailiffs also found ropes first. If there was any danger, they would jump in first without waiting for the county magistrate's order. A waterproof lantern covered with oil paper was picked up and faintly shone on the river. The water seemed to have risen a little. In addition to the sound of rain and thunder, there was only the sound of the commoners working and the sound of digging sand and stones. At this moment, the sound of nature seemed to be separated from the sound of people. They could all hear it, but they were so different. Just between these 2 sounds, a new sound was discovered. The sound of horses' hooves in the water came from afar. The sound was getting louder and louder. There was also a waterproof lantern in front of the carriage. On the light yellow oil paper, there was a picture of 2 rice seedlings together with their eyes wide open. When everyone was fixed on the lantern, the bailiffs in the inner yard suddenly carried Zhang Zhong up and crazily shouted, "Master, the young master and the young lady are here. Master, the young master and the young lady." Zhang Zhong was also shocked. He never would have thought that his son and daughter-in-law would suddenly come over at this time. Beside the carriage, there were also guards who were controlling the horses steadily. They stepped on the water with the same footsteps, making clattering sounds. "Father, did you think it was too hot and came out to take a cold bath? What happened to your clothes? Did someone push you into the river?" On the way here, Zhang Xiaobao met the guards who went to look for them. Knowing that it was dangerous here, he sped up and jumped off the carriage. Looking at the situation, he knew that everyone was worried, so he deliberately said a joke. Zhang Zhong could not describe his current mood. He looked at his son and daughter-in-law and said, "Xiaobao, they are going to break. What can you do?" "Ah, is it really dangerous? What can I do?" "Yes, I do. God told me where to break, but I don't agree. If I don't agree, then it will never happen," Xiaobao proudly said. He even raised his head to look at the sky. A large bolt of lightning flashed above his head. Xiaobao was so scared that he trembled. He reached out his hand to wipe his face. He still had that indifferent expression. Others did not know whether what Zhang Xiaobao said was true or not, but the bailiffs next to him completely believed it. They echoed and shouted, "Did you see that? Our young master said that the place where the dike will break, if the young master says it will not happen, then it will not happen." Zhang Zhong was really puzzled at this time. Was his son really a monster or an immortal? Could he even change the things of God? He asked uncertainly, "Xiaobao, can you really make the place where the dike will not break?" "Father, in fact it is not certain. If God and I think the same and want to break at the same place, then I can't stop it. If God says that the place where the dike will break, that place may not be fixed, but if I say that the place will break, then it will definitely break. Father, wait for me and Cuckoo to look around, and then choose the place where the dike should break," Zhang Xiaobao said to his father like a tongue twister. He pulled Wang Wan and began to look around. Zhang Zhong understood that his son did not come to prevent the dike from breaking, but to find a place where the dike would break. Seeing his son and daughter-in-law disappear in the heavy rain, Zhang Zhong did not know what to do. After about half an hour, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan turned back like drowned rats. "Father, this dike can't be blocked. We don't have a lake yet. Let people take advantage of this time to dig a channel and lead the water to the lake. Now that we have a lake, the matter of the river here is also solved." Zhang Xiaobao finally chose a place. From there, the water could flow to the designated place and also bypass the place where the people lived at the bottom of the mountain. The dike there looked more stable than other places. It was okay to be stable, but it could not withstand damage. Zhang Zhong heard his son's words and felt that it was indeed the case. He hesitated for a moment and asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Do you really want to do this?" "Father, don't worry. It's just 3 days of rain. It may not be able to fill the lake. There is no other way. Do you really think that your son is an immortal? If I have that ability, I can just make some money. Why do I have to work so hard to make money? Father, hurry up and give the order. Otherwise, there will be water seeping in a while." Zhang Xiaobao saw that his father had not made up his mind, so he scared his father a little. Just now, when he was walking around, he heard someone say that there was water seeping. Naturally, he also heard that his father was going to personally jump in to block the dike, which made him scared. Zhang Zhong muttered, "I really want to do this twice in a row," and finally made up his mind. His son was not an immortal, but his son was usually not wrong. "Someone over there, dig a channel for me. It will connect to the low-lying place behind. Be quick, don't dig the dike first." Many people did not know what the county magistrate wanted to do, so they could only follow the order and dig according to Zhang Zhong's request. With the help of the weak light of the waterproof lanterns and the lightning, they began to work as if their lives depended on it. In just 2 hours, they had dug out a channel where the rainwater had seeped in. The deepest part of the channel was 4 feet deep and 6 feet wide. With this channel, it was impossible to smoothly drain the rainwater, but at least there was a direction to drain it. If the water was not drawn over, the dike would burst from who knows where. Dig on the dike little by little, let the water come over first," Zhang Zhong then ordered. A few of the bolder men tied ropes to their bodies, and with shovels in hand, went up to that spot, and began to dig up the soil and throw it into the river. After waiting for about 7 or 8 minutes, the river would be able to overflow the lower part and flow into the canal. Sandbags, pile them up 1 zhang away from the channel. Pile them up tightly," Zhang Zhong shouted to those who were ready to carry the sandbags. These people carried the sandbags and began to pile them up on both sides of the channel. When the dike was dug and the water flowed down, the sandbags were piled up. Chapter 376. Most of the people were paying attention to the diversion of water, so they did not hear the sound of the carriage behind them. The guards of the Wang mansion noticed it, but they were far away, so there was no need to rush over. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan also noticed it, but the two of them just glanced at it and ignored it. In the end, that person directly came over and questioned them. Everyone turned around to look. The commoners did not know much and did not know who that person was. Zhang Zhong and his family looked at the person's dark red official robe and knew that he was a 4th-grade official. What's the use of being a 4th-grade official? Why are you still pretending to ask others to hold an umbrella for you? If an umbrella is useful, we won't have to endure the rain. Wang Wan was part of the system and was disgusted by the system. She muttered at the side. Her voice was loud enough for the person to hear. In such a dark time, it was hard to see if the person's face had any changes. Zhang Xiaobao also did not hold back. After all, this person was the one who questioned him just now. He also said, "I have seen this kind of thing many times. When you get an assistant position, you feel that you are awesome. Especially when you meet someone with a lower rank, you are afraid that others will overlook the existence of the assistant. I guess he is just an assistant. The rain is heavy and the light is dim. I can't tell if it's dark red or light red. Maybe he is a 5th-grade official and deliberately let people hold the umbrella. When the rain falls, he looks like a 4th-grade official. Look at my father. If his clothes are not damaged, people will believe that he is a 6th-grade official. Good method." I am the assistant minister of the Ministry of Works. Why should I wear a 5th grade official's uniform? Where is Huayuan County's county magistrate Zhang Zhong? The person waved his hand and pushed away the umbrella that was held for him. He asked the crowd. He is actually short-sighted. Zhang Xiaobao saw that his father was clearly beside him, but this person was still looking around. He looked at him with the help of the lanterns and understood. He was short-sighted. Unfortunately, there were no spectacles in this era. Then why not make a mirror for him? He spent a lot of money to buy materials. How about the assistant minister? Even when Grandpa Bai came with an official position, he didn't act like this. Wang Wan muttered in dissatisfaction. Sir, Zhang Zhong is standing right in front of you. The person holding the umbrella whispered into the assistant minister's ear. At this moment, Zhang Zhong also took 2 steps forward and asked the assistant minister, Are you Assistant Minister Lu from the Ministry of Works? I am the county magistrate of Huayuan County, Zhang Zhong. Oh, you are. Assistant Minister Lu Weiwei nodded. Immediately, someone brought a lantern over and shone it closer. Why did your clothes become like this? What kind of decorum is this? Assistant Minister Lu was able to see more clearly this time. He glared and questioned loudly. The people who came with him thought it was quite normal, but the people who were working around them didn't want to do it. They shouted and swarmed forward, scaring Assistant Minister Lu into retreating several steps. He couldn't see what was going on, so he shouted, What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you want? Sir, let's get down to business. Zhang Zhong's clothes seemed to have been accidentally torn when he was controlling the flood. He didn't have time to change them. The person holding the umbrella was worried that his people would be surrounded and killed by the people, so he had to persuade him. Assistant Minister Lu raised his sleeve and wiped his eyes. He then tugged at his clothes, which were almost wet. Only then did he say, Zhang Zhong, Minister Lu of the Ministry of Works wants you to hand over the person who wrote the book on nature to me. Immediately send someone to find him. Who? What salt? Zhang Zhong didn't know that his son and daughter-in-law made a book on nature, so he asked in confusion. You don't know the person in your family and the book? Are you trying to lie to me? Assistant Minister Lu glared at his eyes again, and asked with a straight face. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan heard this, they knew it was a lie. It seemed that the minister had only found out about the book when he saw the old man. In that case, Lu Feidong really was a relative of the minister's family. Could it be that the plow was also made by him? Ask him later. He's a talent. Wang Wan thought of Lu Feidong and pondered. If everything was really a coincidence, then this person might be of some use. Zhang Xiaobao agreed deeply and said, We have to find him and find out the truth. This assistant minister is a bit annoying. Zhang Zhong was also angry this time. Not to mention that he didn't know what nature was, even if he knew, so what? Whose superior was it? There were too many superior officials. After standing there in silence for a few breaths, Zhang Zhong decided to ignore this person. He turned around and waved his hand at the people. Continue to fill the sandbags and protect the canal. The people in charge of the piles should also prepare. If any place is damaged by the water, block it up. After saying this, Zhang Zhong took large strides to the side of the canal. In fact, he didn't take more than 5 steps. He stood on top of the sandbags and asked someone to hold a lantern to watch the flow of the water. In the eyes of the people, there was only the county magistrate. If someone else came, they wouldn't care whether it was a wolf or a dog. It had nothing to do with them. Listening to the county magistrate was right. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao took out a paper bag from his chest. It wasn't oil paper. The paper was wet and rotten. He dug out a small thing from the bag and handed it to his father. Father, eat some ginger. It's raining heavily outside and the wind is cold. Zhang Zhong looked at the thing his son handed over. His hand had already reached out, but he retracted it. Xiaobao, father can't eat it. The people are also holding on. They have been outside for longer than father. If the people haven't eaten, how can father eat it? You and Cuckoo can eat it. Zhang Xiaobao didn't insist. He waved his hand and called the bailiff over. Go to my carriage and ask around. He knows where the medicine for the bath is. In a moment, Get someone to boil some water and boil the medicine. When the time comes, give it to my father, Cuckoo and I, as well as some wine. The one for the ginseng. Do you remember? Young master, I remember. Don't worry, I'll go and prepare it. It won't be bad. The bailiff replied and turned around and ran off. At this time, Assistant Minister Liu, who had been left out in the cold, finally reacted. Just now, there was someone in front of him. He thought that Zhang Zhong hadn't left. When he heard Zhang Zhong's voice, he realized that the distance between them wasn't right. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. His eyes widened again. He pointed in the general direction of Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong, didn't you hear what I said? You. I want to impeach you. Then why aren't you writing the impeachment report? There's no one outside to prepare a brush, ink, paper and inkstone for you. This isn't a post house, and it's not a yamen. There's no place to entertain an official, and there's no place to prepare food for an official. Assistant Minister Liu, please do as you please. If it were another county magistrate, perhaps they would be afraid. However, Zhang Zhong didn't care at all. He didn't want to be a 6th-ranked official. Instead, he came here to be a 7th-ranked county magistrate. There were so many people buying coal. Why would he care about an assistant minister? If he wanted to impeach someone, he would send someone to investigate. After Zhang Zhong finished speaking, he strolled up the canal. The lantern moved with him. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan followed behind, ready to run at any time. What if there was a leak? The two of them didn't think that they had the ability to survive in such a situation. Seeing Zhang Zhong leave, the people brought by Assistant Minister Liu couldn't stop him. There were bailiffs, guards, and many people glaring at them. The person holding the umbrella had to come up with another idea. Sir, why don't we do as Minister Liu said and ask about the book? If we can see him, we'll see him. If we can't, we'll leave a good impression on him. Unruly people, they're all unruly people. Did you see? They dared to open up the canal and let the water flush the county. Just this alone will let them know what's good for them. Assistant Minister Liu was still angry. He rushed over in the rain, and the sky was dark. He didn't expect that when he met someone, they didn't treat him well, and didn't even give him a cup of tea. This kind of person definitely couldn't be forgiven. The person holding the umbrella didn't care whether he could see it or not. He nodded vigorously. Sir, you're right. If you want to impeach, then what should we do about the matter? Minister Liu said. We can't rush into the yamen to arrest him. We have a few people here, and it's easy to not get out. Wait for me to go over and scare him. I'll make him hand over the person himself. With the person in hand, the Ministry of Works will be different in the future. What book do you want? Come with me. Assistant Minister Liu seemed to have been affected by the environment and the things he had encountered. He became crazy. He didn't care about what would happen in the future. He only wanted to suppress Zhang Zhong. Normally, he definitely wouldn't be like this. With a heart full of anger, Assistant Minister Liu stumbled toward the lantern next to Zhang Zhong. The other people who had followed him couldn't do anything. They could only follow him and occasionally protect him. Two people walked in front of him and carefully blocked him to prevent him from falling into the canal. At this time, the water was not small. There were even places where the water had overflowed the canal and seeped through the sandbags. There were people working hard to fill in the soil. If they fell in, at least 9 out of 10 people would fall in. Then hurry up and report it. I don't have time to deal with you. If you continue to make noise in front of me, I'll have the people write a 10,000 people petition against you. Lu Yanzhua, do you think the higher-ups will believe you or will they believe me? If you push me too far, I'll take food from Sanshui County tomorrow and send it to the capital. I'll say that the emperor is at peace and that the people of Huayuan County are gathering food to report to the emperor. I'll add a 10,000 people petition. Zhang Zhong threatened with full confidence. Assistant Minister Liu was so scared that he slipped and almost fell. He pointed at Zhang Zhong and said, You're taking food from Sanshui County in the name of the people of Huayuan County. You're quite bold. If the people of Sanshui County don't say anything, what can you do? You're quite bold. I dare to push you into the river. I'll say that Assistant Minister Liu came to investigate the irrigation works. In order to block the water, You rushed forward without a care for your own safety, and fell into the water. Sir Lu, do you think I dare or not? Chapter 377. Assistant Minister Lu was really frightened this time. He was supported by someone, and watched the lantern representing Zhang gradually disappear into the distance. He didn't dare to make a sound. This push also woke him up. He sighed and said to the person holding him, "Let's let go." Let go. Looks like we won't be able to rush back tonight. Look around and see if anyone can give us a place to rest. It would be best if there's something to eat. Remember to pay. Your Excellency, that Zhang he? The person behind him asked. Forget it. County Magistrate Zhang is devoted to the people. He should be rewarded. When we go back, I'll help him write a memorial to ask for a reward. Assistant Minister Lu seemed to have suddenly become a different person. The person behind him let go of his hand and said, "In that case, we'll go ask them and ask them to give us the best place and the best things. We'll give them a few taels of silver. It's too good for them. Hurry up and do it." Assistant Minister Lu said calmly and turned to go back. Zhang didn't care about Assistant Minister Lu at all. He was still looking at the canal and asked the person next to him, "How's the situation on the other side of the river?" "Your Excellency, it's fine. Since the opening here is getting bigger and bigger, the water level on the other side of the river has dropped. Your Excellency, how long do we have to keep the water flowing? If the opening is too big, we won't be able to fill it." The person who had just gone to check the situation replied respectfully. Zhang raised his arm and pointed to the place where the water was flowing. "When that place becomes a lake, that's when we can stop. Your Excellency, if it really becomes a lake, there's no need to stop. We can just draw water from the lake and connect it to other places. Does Your Excellency really want that place to become a lake? There are still some people in the fields there." The person was worried about Zhang. "Yes, the shrimp fields. In the future, the people who originally planted there can raise shrimps. They won't have to worry about not being able to sell the shrimps. Many people will come to buy them. When the time comes, those who live near you can come and eat. When the mountain is repaired, remember the name. The first time is free." Zhang's idea was his own. When Zhang Xiaobao mentioned this matter, he only mentioned raising something. Zhang felt that it was fine to let these people eat for free. "Sir, my family is not from here. We are from a neighboring county." This person regretted not moving to Huayuan County earlier. It seemed that it was not easy to enter now. Zhang smiled and said, "This time, you have contributed a lot to this county. If you are willing to stay and live in this county will accept all of you. Won't it be close in the future?" "Sir, you're not lying to me?" the man asked happily. "Of course I won't lie to you." Zhang couldn't wait for all the people in the surrounding counties to come and live with him. "Sir, please wait for me. I will go and inform them that I am also a citizen of Huayuan County in the future. Sir, when the time comes, I will treat you to the free prawns." The person left behind these words and ran towards the people who came with him. "Okay, go and come back quickly. I still have to watch over here." Zhang shouted at the man and laughed to himself. This is a lot of people. Between the clouds and the water, Sanshui County. The old man was not resting yet. He didn't care whether it was dark or not. He sat in the pavilion with a bamboo hat on his head and continued fishing. The water was boiling on the stone table in the pavilion. A man in ordinary green clothes was watching the fire. From time to time, he glanced at the old man who was fishing. When the water boiled, the old man put down the fishing rod and walked over. He washed the tea bowl, put some tea leaves in it, and rinsed the water. After a while, he poured the water out and rinsed it again. Only then did he close the lid. "Minister Lu, do you think that kid Lu can achieve his goal this time?" "I don't think so. Won't he just ask Zhang to hand him over directly?" The old man grabbed a handful of snacks made of pumpkin seeds and ate one as he spoke to the person sitting in front of him. Minister Lu also followed suit. He grabbed a small handful and put it in his hand. However, he wasn't in a hurry to eat it. Instead, he said to the old man, "Old minister, you might have thought wrongly. LV Yinzwa has always been working under me." He is reliable, patient, and meticulous. How could he do something wrong? That's not right. On a rainy day he rushed all the way here. Before he could rest, he was sent out by you again. Moreover, he saw the clairvoyance and that fan thing. He felt wronged and wanted to make a big contribution. On top of that, he is a fourth-rank official. He rushed here in a hurry. If he doesn't do well, he might show his authority first. If it was someone else, it would be fine. However, he is facing Zhang Zhong. How could Zhang Zhong let him do that? If Zhang Zhong stayed in the yamen, he might have returned empty-handed. However, if Zhang Zhong is busy with the county affairs, no one would be in a bad mood on such a rainy day. The old man knew what kind of character Zhang Zhong was. He had also interacted with LV Yenzhua before. He always felt that the two of them didn't seem to get along. Zhang Zhong was the kind of person who did things straightforwardly. The old man had nothing to worry about. His family was rich and powerful. He also had a master guiding him behind the scenes. LV Yenzhua's character was more feminine. If it was a normal time or an official in the imperial court, he would know how to endure. However, he met a local official. In addition, it was an opportunity to make a contribution. Moreover, the weather was bad. It was very likely that he would use the method of suppressing the other party to get the matter done quickly. Originally, he wanted to contact the other party. If it was someone else, they would also want to find the person directly. It was easy for a minister to find a person who didn't have any achievements. However, that person was the lifeblood of the Zhang family. Not only did he do things well, but he also made money. How could Zhang Zhong let such a person go? Minister Lu didn't think so much. He ate a pumpkin seed and felt that it tasted good. He smacked his lips and said, "Old minister, don't worry. LV Yenzhua won't cause any trouble. Even if he uses his official position to suppress others, he will definitely endure it and find an opportunity to retaliate. But that Zhang Zhong, how can he be so daring? Then he needs to be properly sharpened. If his edges are too sharp, he's not suitable to be an official. As for his family, since he can make a curved plow, write nature, and even create a clairvoyant, I'll use the Ministry of Works order to recruit him. Then don't think about getting anything. If you anger that person, you won't be able to do anything else as a minister in the future. It seems that you don't know that person's methods. I actually hope that you can give it a try. Let this old man open his eyes." The old man didn't think that Lu Jiro could fight against the person behind Zhang Jiazhuangzi. That person's methods were hard to understand. When he was gentle, he was like a Buddha in 10,000 homes. In Sanshui County, no one said anything bad about the Zhang family. When he was ruthless, he was like a cold wind blowing in one's face. Life or death, it was all in one's mind. In particular, this person seemed to know almost everything. If he wanted to kill someone, he didn't need knives, guns, bows, or crossbows. Just the firecrackers in the grocery store were enough. Unfortunately, this person was deeply hidden and couldn't be seen by others. Li Sun sent someone over. He learned a lot of things, especially mathematics. However, the person who taught him was definitely not the person behind the Zhang family. Lu Shangshu looked at the old man's eyes. His hands were already clenched into fists. He was very uncomfortable because of the pumpkin seeds. After a few breaths of time, he finally sighed. "Since old minister said so, I naturally don't dare to look for trouble. It's just a pity that he can make so many things. Old minister, don't tell me you don't want him to do something for the country and the people?" He had a good grasp of when to advance and when to retreat. He didn't feel like he had lost face at all. The old man chuckled and said, "If we really want to talk about ability, it shouldn't be your Ministry of Works. It won't make a difference even if you put it in the Sea Agricultural Temple. Look at the rice planted by Zhang family and Wang family. The average yield per mu is more than 3 dan. In the superior fields, it can even reach 5 dan. How's this ability? Look at the poultry and livestock raised by the Zhang family and Wang family. Compared to other places, they are much better. The chicks can give birth to chicks without the need for a hen. How's this ability? Even if you don't put him in the Sea Agricultural Temple, it will be more useful if you put him in my Ministry of Revenue. Look at the business opened by Zhang family and Wang family. All the money of my academy is paid by them. Do you know how much they have paid? How much? Lu Shangshu asked. Very much. Do you see those flags? Also, there are the banners here and the banners on the boat. They used 40% of the money to exchange for half a year's worth of food and clothing for the academy's students. Shouldn't such people be put in the Ministry of Revenue? Look at the place where the Zhang family and Wang family live in Zhuangzi. During the day, you can go there for a stroll. It's a beautiful rural area. At night, you can send people there to make trouble. If there are fewer people and they don't care about killing people, they will kill everyone who goes there. Is it okay to put such people in the Ministry of War? During this time, the old man thoroughly learned about the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi. The more he learned, the more shocked he was. The day before yesterday, there was a person who accidentally sprained his foot in the canal. He asked his family to go back to the courtyard between the clouds and the water to find someone to treat him. However, before his family could go to the courtyard, a doctor came out of nowhere and treated him with medicine. If the doctor could be so fast, then what about the guards? If someone went there at night to make trouble, the doctor would be really ruthless. It was scary to think about it. Perhaps when the sun came up, not even a corpse could be found. Lu Jiro had not been here for a long time, so she didn't know about these things. When she heard the old minister's words, she thought about it and guessed some things. Because she guessed it, Lu Jiro was even more excited. Old minister, with such a person here, how can you just ignore it? He's an all-rounder. I wonder how old he is? If he's younger than you, old minister, he can do a lot of things. Who said I didn't care? It's because of this that I didn't dare to force him. What if that person felt uneasy and left the Zhang family? I'm still teaching Zhang family's 2 children. I don't know if it's because that person knows that such children have come to the Zhang family, or because he came. The 2 children are better than the children of ordinary families. You may not believe it, but as long as you're willing to teach them, they're willing to learn. What you teach today, they'll mention something they don't understand tomorrow. Even if they learn it, when I teach them, they've already learned the 1,000-character classic and memorized the Analects of Confucius. Now they're learning the selected literary works. When they reach a certain level, they feel that they can't catch up, so they start to memorize the area classics. What do you think? The old man didn't hide anything. These were all relatively normal, the kind that wasn't normal. He told Lu Jiro one by one. After listening, Lu Jiro was stunned. Chapter 378. Now you know, right? Sometimes, you don't have to meet to do things well. You have seen the clairvoyance. For us it's a very common thing. 2 crystal pieces and a bamboo tube. But when it's made, it can let the army know the enemy's movements in advance. The old man didn't care about Lu Jiro's silly appearance and continued to talk. When he felt that the tea was almost ready, he lifted the teacup and used the lid to remove the tea foam. He took a sip and exhaled, looking like he was enjoying it. Lu Jiro had drunk this kind of tea before, but at that time, she drank the Xinjiang Maojian tea that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had people steal from Hunan. This time, it was the Westlake Longjing tea. Ha! Old minister, this tea of yours? After drinking a sip, Lu Jiro asked in surprise. Do you feel that it's different from what you drank before? Do you know where this tea came from? When the old man saw her expression, he guessed that she still didn't know where the tea came from. Lu Jiro shook her head and said, I really don't know where it came from. At that time, when someone sent it to me, they said that they wanted me to help Zhang Zhong. But the examiner and I didn't get along well, so I didn't help much. Who would have thought that Zhang Zhong actually passed the exam? Later, when they arranged the official position, I also didn't do anything. Those people seemed to be helping Zhang Zhong too. Later on I understood. Since they could find me, they could find someone else. Could it be that this tea was bought by Zhang Zhong's family as a gift? I also have a lot of black fungus. I heard that it was planted by Zhangjia Zhuangzi. Until now, I still haven't figured out how to plant black fungus. I don't have any seeds. It's really not a waste of talent to let that person go to the agriculture temple. The old man didn't speak directly. Instead, he took another sip of tea, grabbed the pumpkin seeds on the table, and ate a few. Lu Jiro didn't interrupt him and sat there quietly waiting. After the old man finished eating, he patted some of the seasonings on his hands and said, "The tea you drank was picked by me from West Lake. I gave it to Zhangjia Zhuangzi and they brought back the tea leaves for me. The tea you drank before was taken from Hunan. It was also passed to Zhangjia Zhuangzi." Zhangjia Zhuangzi made this kind of tea? Then wouldn't they have become the target of public criticism? Lu Jiro naturally understood the value of this kind of tea. Drinking it was addictive. She was very careful when she drank it, and was reluctant to part with it. Who would have thought that as long as the Zhang family's manor picked the tea and sent it to them, they would make good tea? The old man chose Lu Jiro. He took another sip of the tea. Where did the arrows come from? The tea that other people drink is all sent out from the prince's mansion. The tea produced by the Zhang family, some of it is kept for themselves, some of it is sold, and most of it is sent to the prince's mansion. The prince's mansion can either give it away or sell it for money. Who would dare to rob the Zhang family's recipe? What's the difference between that and robbing the prince's mansion? The only one who can get the recipe is the emperor. But the emperor is very good to his brother. How could he do such a thing for a cup of tea? Besides, if the emperor wants to drink it, how could there be less? Old Minister Li is right. Then can you give me the Book of Nature? I'll go back and let people think about it. Maybe they can make something more useful. Lu Jiro brought up the matter of the book. Oh, Minister Li won't wait for Assistant Minister Lu? Maybe Assistant Minister Lu can bring him back. The old man deliberately said. If it was before, it would be possible, but now it's impossible. The Zhang family has a close relationship with the prince's mansion. Why would they be afraid of a mere assistant minister? Especially when I heard that Zhang Zhong's methods are amazing. He just took over Huayuan County, and he cleaned up the original people. He repaired the roads and mountains, and even the river was repaired by your nephew. It's not easy to find a mistake. Even if you find one, as long as it's not a rebellion, what can you do to him? The Zhang family has not found an excuse to reward them for their contribution. At worst, we'll be even. But in the emperor's heart, we may not be even. When Assistant Minister Lu comes back, I'll persuade him. At this time, Lu Jiro no longer had any hope for Assistant Minister Lu. When a high-ranking official came to a place, he naturally had to put on airs. The officials in the capital and the officials outside were not the same. Even the most amiable people in the court would have a bit of arrogance. In addition, this matter was a great contribution, and the weather was bad, so it was normal for him to lose his temper. The key to the problem was who the other party was. Zhang Zhong could be said to be in charge of 2 counties. His family was rich, he was the new top scorer, he had a good relationship with the prince, he had a good relationship with the old minister. And he also contributed to the contribution of the prescription. Why would such a person care whether or not the other party was a capital official? There's no rush. We'll talk about it when he comes back. If it's not done, then take the book. If it's done, then I won't have to worry too much. I heard the 2 children say that a lake will be built at Yawang Mountain in the future. This is also a matter for your Ministry of Works. When the time comes, don't forget what to do. Zhangjia Zhuangzi has never been simple. The old man still wanted to see how Assistant Minister Lu would handle this matter, even though Lu Jiro already knew that it was going to be a bad thing. Lu Jiro understood. Old minister, where will this Zhang Zhong go in the future? Where else can he go? In his hands, Huayuan County will become a Shang County like Sanshui County. At that time, he will naturally enter the court as an official. If he doesn't become a 5th-rank official, then he will be at least a 6th-rank official. Maybe then you will have the opportunity to work together. This isn't Zhang Zhong's age a bit too young? If he enters the court at such a young age, it will be a waste to not give him a position with real power. Lu Jiro felt that this was not a good idea. He had only been a county magistrate once. No matter if he was from Zhongxian or Shang County, even if he really entered the capital, his future career would not be smooth. If it was someone else, he wouldn't think about it. However, the person in the Zhang family seemed to have been helping Zhang Zhong to get up step by step. If Zhang Zhong's career did not progress, who could guarantee that that person would not be disheartened? After Lu Jiro mentioned it, The old man also thought of this point. With the ability of the Pingzhang family, they should not enter the court too early, going to a place to gain experience, and experience was the right way to go. Thinking of this, the old man fell into deep thought. He was pinching the pumpkin seeds in his hand. Lu Jiro looked across and suggested, "Why don't we wait for Zhang Zhong to turn Huayuan County into Shang County? Then we can help him and not let him enter the capital. We can send him to a place farther away. A place that is more difficult. According to their ability, if they can make that place a little better, it will also be a great achievement and experience. This matter can't be decided too early. I will write a letter to Xiaobao and Cuckoo and ask them how their studies are. By the way, I will mention that if the Zhang family agrees, then let Zhang Zhong go to work harder. This is easy to do. If they don't agree, Sai, then I will help them when I can." The old man agreed with Lu Jiro's idea, but he didn't know what the expert in the Zhang family was thinking. He could only try to sound them out first. "In that case, I will wait here for a few days and think about it. If there is something I don't understand, I hope old minister can give me a pointer or two." Lu Jiro was ready to invest in Zhang Zhong. She wanted to let the person behind Zhang Jiazhuangzi understand that if he really did well, he might be able to be the prime minister for a few years. The old man agreed and didn't continue to talk about this matter. He began to talk about some unimportant things. They drank tea and went fishing. The two talked quite well. It was dinner time, and they went back together between the clouds and the water. The next day, when it was almost noon, the rain didn't seem to stop. The old man began to make arrangements for the competition. He wasn't afraid of the rain, so he could build a shelter. The feeling of competing in this kind of weather was naturally different. Even the spectators felt that it was fresh. Lu Jiro finally waited for Assistant Minister Lu to come back. When Lu Yenzhua came back, his face was very ugly. It didn't seem like he was angry, but more like he was lacking in qi and blood. "Minister Lu, something happened when we got there. We didn't invite anyone, and we didn't see anyone." County Magistrate Zhang Zhong personally oversaw the situation there. In order to prevent the river from bursting the banks, he specially opened a hole. This was why the downstream was safe and sound. I think we should give him a reward. Lu Jiro was eating. There was only one dish for lunch, stewed food. It was stewed for a long time, so the fragrance kept coming out. This made Lu Yenzhua, who had only drunk some cold water and hadn't eaten anything since yesterday's noon, continuously swallow his saliva. "Assistant Minister Lu, why don't you give me some face and eat with me? Don't look at the stewed food, and don't look at the pork in it. The taste is really good. There is also rice with salted fish. I can't eat it alone." Lu Jiro understood when she saw Lu Yenzhua's appearance. How hungry did he have to be to have such a reaction when he saw the food? Lu Yenzhua didn't stand on ceremony and sat down. He first used a spoon to scoop up more than half of the stewed food and poured it into a bowl. He drank a mouthful of the stewed food and took a bite of the salted fish. His chopsticks moved up and down. In the blink of an eye, he ate half a bowl of rice with salted fish. He exhaled and began to tell Lu Jiro what happened yesterday. After he finished telling the story without missing a single detail, he picked up a piece of meat and threw it into his mouth. As he ate, he said, "It's delicious. The food made by Between the Clouds and the Water is really extraordinary. Even the rice that people usually don't eat is delicious." He didn't know that it was because it was eaten with salted fish. Originally, the best thing to eat with salted fish was corn flour, but there wasn't any here. As Lu Jiro listened, she almost couldn't hold back her laughter several times. Lu Yenzhua really suffered a lot. Zhang Zhong actually didn't give him anything to eat because he wasn't at the post house or the government office. He asked people to spend money to buy food, and the price was raised to the level of 20 taels of silver per meal. In the end, not a single commoner was willing to give up their food, no matter how much money they were given. The reason was very simple. It was because they had offended the county magistrate. Fortunately, no one was watching the cold water, so they could use it as they pleased. That was why they drank a bellyful of cold water. After that, they didn't have a place to stay, so they could only sleep in the carriage. Who knew that after Lu Yenzhua fell asleep, Zhang Zhong would arrange for Lu Yanzua's people to stay in a tent. He also gave them some food, which was also stewed food. The entrance of the tent was guarded by the prince's mansion's guards with crossbows. The people who followed Lu Yanzua had a full meal and a good night's sleep, but Lu Yanzua was the only one with bad luck. Lu Zhiro looked at Lu Yanzua and thought for a moment. She said, "Assistant Minister Lu, Zhang Zhong's courage is really too big. He is preparing to become an official in the capital. When the time comes, you and I will find more people and put him in the poorest and most difficult place." Chapter 379. The old men of Huayuan County were really accurate. It rained heavily for 3 days. On the morning of the 4th day, the rain finally subsided. Some places even had sunlight. Zhang Zhong didn't go anywhere these days. He stayed at the foot of Yawang Mountain. When the water was heavy, no matter what he was doing, he would put down everything and rush to the dam to guard it. If he was sleepy, he would lie down in his house for a while. If he was hungry, he would just eat something. He watched for 3 days. Miraculously, nothing happened to the river and the canal on Yawang Mountain. The rain stopped, but the water level didn't drop immediately. They had to wait for half a day for the water to flow down more upstream. The people who were working let out a sigh of relief. They looked at the muddy lake. It wasn't too big. They still had to keep the canal. In the future, it would become a river that fed into the lake. When the time came, they would open a hole in another place. When the lake water reached a certain level, it would flow to the downstream from that hole, or become a separate river. Zhang Zhong went to bed at 3 in the morning, and woke up at 9 in the morning. He slept quite well. After eating an unknown meal, he came to the dam again. The commoners greeted them one after another, their gazes filled with deep respect. The happiest ones were the commoners who came here from the outside to do some odd jobs. Ever since Zhang Zhong said that they could stay in Huayuan County, this news quickly spread among them. "Master, please change your clothes. There's nothing to do here. When the rain stops and the water level drops, you still have to go back to the yamen. You don't know how many things are there." The yamen runner carried a new set of official robes and followed behind Zhang Zhong to let him change. Zhang Zhong had been wearing the torn clothes for the past 3 days. He didn't wash them. At this time, they looked dirty and tattered. They didn't look like official robes at all. However, Zhang Zhong felt that he was a real official at this time. "There's no hurry. Let's wait until the rain stops. Otherwise, we'll get wet again. In the future, this lake will be our family. We can settle many people who can't find a job. We can also make money. It won't be worse than those businesses at the foot of Yawang Mountain." Zhang Zhong said happily as he looked at the muddy lake and imagined what it would be like in the future. The yamen runner was also happy. The more money and power the master had, the better life the people in the inner courtyard would have. They would have more confidence when they went out. He thought for a while and said, "Master, I have a younger brother. He is 21 this year. Why don't we let him raise some fish and shrimp here? He hasn't found a wife yet." "No." Zhang Zhong rejected the request without thinking. The bailiff was a little helpless, but he couldn't say anything. If the master didn't want him to do it, then he couldn't do it. But Zhang Zhong's next words made him happy again. "Isn't it a waste of talent for people from the inner yard to come here to raise fish and shrimps? Let him be a steward here and manage the others well. When the time comes, if he takes a fancy to any girl, the main family will help him marry her into the family. In the future they will live separately." "Ah, Master, is that true? Thank you, Master. You don't need to live separately. When you become a steward, you can get married immediately. It's not a girl from any family, but a girl from the inner yard. The good girls outside are not ordinary. They don't like ordinary people from the inner yard. Only the people in the inner yard are pleasing to the eye. Hee, Master. When you live in the main family, it's enough to have a house." The yamen runner finally helped solve a big problem for the family. His younger brother could get married. His younger brother had been with that girl for a long time, but the girl insisted that she was waiting for his younger brother to have a good future. What good could he do by staying in the inner yard all day? Of course, it didn't count if he did the work that he should do, But it was different if he came out to be a steward. Zhang Zhong didn't object to the love between people in the inner yard. As long as they followed the rules and followed the etiquette, they could get married if they liked. In the future, they would have children in the inner yard. After listening to the Yamen runner, he agreed. When it's time for the wedding, the main family will send a betrothal gift and a dowry for the bride. See if we can still buy land behind the Yamen and build a new house there. We can't mistreat the people in the inner yard. Thank you, master. When the time comes, my younger brother won't be separated from the main family. In the past 2 years, the two of them have saved some money. Life will be good. Master, that assistant minister, why don't you think of a way to find out about him? What if he plays tricks behind your back? The Yamen runner imagined the situation when his younger brother got married. The more he thought about it, the happier he became. In the future, he would still be a member of the main family, so he didn't need to spend much money. His meals and clothes would still be taken care of by the main family. When he had children, the main family would also help to raise them. When they were older, they would go to school. When they were older, they would go to school. Thinking of these good things, the Yamen runner suddenly remembered the assistant minister that came that day. Master didn't let him off lightly, so he was a little worried. Zhang Zhong didn't care at all. I don't care what assistant minister he is. He doesn't have the guts to impeach me. As for playing tricks behind my back, let him be. There are many people who want to play tricks on the Zhang family. Master is right. The Zhang family is not afraid. Master, the young master and young lady are here. As the Yamen runner spoke, he saw the young master and young lady coming from the other side. He took the initiative to take a few steps back to make space for them. The rain was getting lighter. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan worked together to hold up a large umbrella, rolled up their trousers, and wore sandals woven from reeds on their feet. They waded through the water and came over. The two of them had just received the letter sent by the old man. In the letter, the Minister of Works and Assistant Minister Lu were mentioned. The main point was that Zhang Zhong would go out after he finished being the county magistrate. The old man wrote down the pros and cons. He meant to let Zhang Zhong be an official in a poor place in the future. As long as he had some achievements, it would be a great political achievement. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan couldn't help but admire the old man. It wasn't because of the old man's idea, but because he pushed this matter to the hated Assistant Minister Lu and gave him a chance to take revenge. He made Assistant Minister Lu feel that Zhang Zhong wanted to enter the imperial court. He contacted some people to think of a way to get Zhang Zhong to a remote and poor place. This way he would be more comfortable. The Zhang family would also save some trouble. There weren't many people who could help and didn't need to give any benefits. After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sighed at the old fox, they came to discuss with Father Zhang and asked if he agreed. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan agreed. Zhang Xiaobao originally made this arrangement because he didn't expect that becoming an official in the imperial court didn't require experience in various departments. After the old man's explanation, he found out that one needed to be a provincial governor or a prefect. Otherwise, it was usually impossible to be promoted to a higher position. One could only be a deputy in a certain department and prepare to rely on luck to get promoted. It was really too difficult. Wang Wan originally didn't oppose Zhang Xiaobao's suggestion because she thought of Yang Guozhong. This person relied on nepotism to get promoted. The Zhang family didn't have a noble consort, but the Zhang family could use other means to get such a position. Now that she saw the old man's letter, she decided that it was better to follow the normal route. When it was raining heavily, they didn't use umbrellas. When the wind blew, they would get wet. When it was drizzling, it was just right. Zhang Zhong turned around and saw his son and daughter-in-law coming over. He smiled happily and said to the two of them, "Have you been staying at the foot of the mountain for the past 3 days? Did you want me to go home with you?" "Father, it's lively at the foot of the mountain. It's not annoying, but we really need to go home." The Yamen's matters can't always be handled by others. Father, grandfather sent a letter. Take a look. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan walked forward, Zhang Xiaobao took out the letter from his chest and handed it to his father as he spoke. Zhang Zhong thought that Bai Go had written another letter to test the two of them, so he didn't pay much attention. He casually took out the letter. When he read it, he realized that the letter was specially written for him. Xiao Bao, isn't it a bit early to talk about this matter? Zhang Zhong actually didn't want to be an official outside. It was written clearly in the letter that if he didn't become an official outside, it would be difficult to find opportunities to go further in the future. Unless there was a big matter that required a deputy position in a certain department. The deputy position had to be done exceptionally well to be valued. Zhang Xiaobao had studied a lot of psychology. How could he not know what his father was thinking? He advised from the side, "Father, it's not early anymore. Do you really want to work for 3 to 5 years? After the autumn harvest this year, all the infrastructure construction will be completed. In addition to the various businesses, Huayuan County will be even more prosperous than Sanshui County. Father, you are still young. You are not even 30 years old. You are only 20 years old. It's fine if you go to the capital to be an official now. Put in more effort for the family, and let you do chores in various departments first. When the time comes, you can use some money or make some achievements. Then you can be promoted slightly. But if you want to be the assistant minister, you will need at least 10 years. 10 years is still young. You are only 34 or 35 years old. But if you want to be the minister, it may take more than 10 years. You can also sit there. Think of more ways. I can help you, but I am too tired. It's not just a simple achievement. There are also political struggles with other senior officials. Father, don't you want to do something big? Just being an official is not enough. The Zhang family still needs a lot of money to support. I still need to earn money. Although Cuckoo is helping me, Cuckoo also has her own things to do. Zhang Xiaobao told the truth. Zhang Zhong looked at his son and realized that his son was still a child. He was already so tired. When he grew up, he would have his own things to do. He could not help him behind the scenes all the time. He had to learn more about this kind of thing in the future. He could not always study behind the scenes. It was also good to go to a place. The poorer the place, the more conflicts there were. It was also a kind of learning and training. If he directly entered the imperial court, he would have the help of his family. Furthermore, he would be an official who dealt with chores. His colleagues would give in to him, and he would not get too much training. It was better to go outside and take a look at the poorer places. With his son's ability, he did not need to do anything else. He only needed to copy some things from Sanshui County and Huayuan County. Thinking of this, Zhang Zhong did not know whether he should be happy or helpless. He was helpless because he had too little experience in officialdom and needed others to protect him. He was happy because any official would treat him like this. It could be said that they were arrogant. They would be the top scorer just because they said so. When it came to Huayuan, they would become the county magistrate. Chapter 380. Zhang Zhong thought about how difficult it was for others to be an official, and compared it to himself. He was in a good mood and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, let's do as Elder Bai said. Where are we going? Do we need to prepare first?" "Dad, I don't know. I think that guy will send you to the south, not to Henan or Jiangnan. He will continue to the south and send you to a place where you are usually sent to." Zhang Xiaobao thought about it and felt that the possibility was very high. It would take a few months or half a year to go to that place. It was not like when he and Wang Wan were at that time. The further south they went, the more prosperous it was. Now most people were not willing to go there. If they did not like someone, they would be sent to that place. The road was difficult to travel and the climate was not suitable. Otherwise, there would not be so many people who died on the way. They really needed to prepare well. Zhang Zhong did not expect that his son could say so far. He thought that they would go to Sichuan or Linhai in Henan province. He was a little scared when he thought of that place. "Xiaobao, only people who are sent to that place go to that place, right? That LV Yenzhua is so capable that he can send me, a county magistrate with achievements, away?" "Dad, of course LV Yenzhua is not so capable, but our Zhang family is. Cooperate with him and you can go there, right? It is easy. Dad, you can watch the scenery along the way and eat and sleep well when you reach the place. It is best to go to the seaside. Although it is a little wet, the scenery is good. You can eat and drink a lot of things that are not here, and see a lot of ethnic customs. Dad, you haven't seen what the sea looks like, right? It is blue during the day and dark at night. Dad, don't you want to see the scenery there? The moon rises from the sea, and we share this moment in the world. Sail a small boat, and experience the feeling of riding the wind and waves. Listen to the sound of seabirds and see how they fly in the sea and sky. Okay. Xiaobao began to talk about the good places, describing them as if they were in heaven. Not good, not good. Who would send you there? What if I fall sick on the way? You can just wait to feel better. Go and see how much the water level has dropped. I'll be back soon. Zhang Zhong was really attracted by what his son said, but when he thought about it, it didn't seem to be the case. Those who were sent there all looked so sad. Countless officials died on that road. As he spoke, Zhang Zhong turned around and walked up the embankment. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan followed behind. Zhang Xiaobao was still trying to entice him. Father, how can it not be good? Others may not understand, but our family is different. When we arrive at a place, we first improve the lives of the local people, and then we build there. In order to prevent you from not being acclimatized, from tomorrow onwards, Father, you will start to eat things from the sea for dinner. I will change the cooking method for you. When we go there, we will take the boat and go through the river. The river will change to a small river, and the small river will enter the big river. There are also canals and lakes. I will use various methods to cook, such as stewing, braising, simmering, warming, steaming, roasting, frying, baking, braising, smoking, buckling, soaking, boiling, mixing, pan-frying, roasting, pickling, and so on. When you are familiar with the food, you can eat any dish. If you are not used to it, you can eat less and make it into a plate. In this way, how can you not be acclimatized? In order to not be seasick, Father, in the future, when you have nothing to do, you can sit in a boat in the water. I will ask someone to make a round boat. You can sit in it, and with the paddles around you, the boat will start to spin. That kind of boat will go up and down as long as it encounters a little wave. After practicing for half a year, you will not have to worry about seasickness. At that time, we will eat, drink, and play. Our two families will go together to the beautiful place with blue sky and blue water. Zhang Zhong listened and was amused. He looked back at his son and said, You know so many cooking methods? I am not seasick. I don't need to suffer from that. You don't know, but others know. Even if a chef knows a few cooking methods, there are chefs from all over the capital. Find them, and the cooking method will be complete. Why do we have to wait until we get to the place to prepare to adapt? From now on, our two families, including the inner courtyard, must be prepared. Zhang Xiaobao really did not know so many cooking methods. It was good enough that he could cook something to eat. He was not a chef before. Zhang Zhong felt that it was reasonable. In that case, we will do as you say. We have to hurry up with the things here. Asterisk. Turn back, go 1212, stand still. After Zhang Zhong's matter was settled, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan became free people again. The construction of the supermarket and the boat were left to other people. This time, the two of them finally regained their freedom. Every day, they wrote a letter to the old man and explained the things they did not understand in the letter they received yesterday. In the morning, they would wake up to eat, then study. In the afternoon, they would eat and sleep for a while. Then they would exercise. In the evening, after eating, they would sleep and wake up in the middle of the night to study again. Their lives became regular. They did not have to worry about zhuangzi. The farmers raised their own poultry and livestock. Only when they were cooking roasted chicken and smoked chicken, they would come back to Zhang Xiaobao once in a while to ask for seasonings. Zhang Xiaobao did not give this to anyone else. In the future, when he left, he would let a few people in Zhuangzi remember one thing. Only when the items of a few people were put together could the recipe be made. If someone really stole the recipe, they could only blame themselves for not being strict enough. The other matters of the manor remained unchanged, but they would leave behind a person specifically in charge of management. Zhang Xiaobao began to learn the things Wang Wan wrote for him. Wang Wan trained the guards in the courtyard, with Huzi as the leader. There were 16 people in total. They wore the same clothes and were diligently training according to Wang Wan's instructions. It was a hot day. Standing in the courtyard, there was no shelter. The sun directly shone on the 16 people. Their clothes had long been soaked through by sweat. However, if they did not meet the requirements, they could not stop. There was rock sugar and mung bean soup on the side. After practicing for an hour, they would drink 2 big bowls. There was no need to worry about heatstroke. Wang Wan, who was shouting commands, and Zhang Xiaobao, who was studying, sat under the shelter. They were eating ice cream and shouting at the same time. Ever since they got the fans, the two of them developed an egg beater. After adding milk and cooling, the ice cream would be produced. It was the very pure kind. Look to the right in a row. Look forward in a row. That's all for today. It's the first day. The requirements are not strict. Don't stand in a row. Go back and think about it. We'll continue tomorrow. Dismissed. Wang Wan held a bowl with ice cream in one hand and a spoon in the other. She used her tongue to lick the ice cream into her mouth, and lectured with a serious expression. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head helplessly. It was the first time he saw such an instructor. It would be better if she smeared some mud on her face, and made it into a flowery face. Coupled with the action of snorting, which army in the world could command a group of people to walk in a row? Which army in the world could be more strict than the Zhang family's Miao protection team? The 16 people were already exhausted. Finally, the young lady showed mercy and let them go. However, when they heard the young lady's words, they were so scared that they almost fell to the ground. Wasn't this not strict requirements? One by one, they were either standing or walking. Their backs were already aching, and their legs were cramping. Huzi felt that as the captain he should help his team members get some benefits, so he said, "Young lady, can we get a big shed tomorrow and practice under the shed? If our faces are exposed to the sun like this, our skin will burst." "Oh, you're afraid of the sun? Okay, we'll start tomorrow morning. We'll practice on the paved sand road outside. The wind in the courtyard is small, and it's stuffy. There are so many flowers and plants, and it's humid. It's better to practice on the road outside. That road has been paved with stones, so it's flat and ventilated." After listening to Huzi's words, Wang Wan gave him a chance to show that he cared about his team members as the captain. They would change the place starting tomorrow. The other 15 people looked at Huzi differently. The courtyard was just a little bit sunny. The ground was bluestone, and there was water flowing by. There were also flowers and plants, and there was also the wind blowing from the pond. It was not bad. There was no wind outside, and even if there was, it would be hot. The sun on the road was already hot enough. When they looked at it in the afternoon, it was like looking at a flame, fluctuating back and forth. How hot was that? "Huzi, you're fine. Why didn't you take a shower after disbanding? Why did you say that?" Huzi was dumbfounded. He did not need to look to know how the other 15 people looked at him. He also knew what they were thinking. That was not what he meant. "Okay, why are you still standing there like idiots? Train hard. When you're done, I'll give you a chance to teach others. There are 40 people in Elm Village waiting for you. I'll train them like I train you." Wang Wan did not seem to notice the bitter expressions on their faces as he continued to speak. As soon as he said this, the 16 of them perked up, thinking about how they felt during training today, and then thinking about how they would train others in the future. A special smile appeared on their faces. None of the military instructors are good people. Zhang Xiaobao, who was waiting to ask a few questions he did not know, saw the expressions of the guards, shook his head, and muttered with a sigh. "Zhang Xiaobao, you're not allowed to slander such a serious matter. To be able to become a qualified instructor is a kind of honor. Their smile is a smile of honor. In 2 days, we'll also train with them. Then you'll understand the principle of first bitterness, then sweetness, and first tiredness, then glory." Wang Wan heard this. Holding the bowl of ice cream, she turned around and said solemnly. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. "I can feel it. In a few days, let them train in only their underwear and tan. That's a sign of glory. We need to let them get used to the seaside in advance. If they don't get tanned, it will affect the job of protecting the seedlings. As for us, we don't need to train with them, right? There's no point. We'll just train ourselves. The next morning, Hu Zi and the others dragged their bodies, which had not fully recovered, and were really brought to the road outside by Wang Wan. The 16 of them stood in 4 rows, and were not allowed to move at all. Chapter 381. With a splash, a big watermelon was pulled out of the well. Li Sun struggled to carry it to the table under a big tree by the roadside. He picked up the knife next to him and stabbed it hard. With a crack, a big hole appeared in the middle of the watermelon, and 2 black seeds flew out from it. After a few more cuts, the whole watermelon was divided into pieces. Zhang Xiaobao picked up 2 pieces first, handed one to Wang Wan, and took a bite. Sweet. There is nothing in it. A normal ripe watermelon is really sweet. As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao looked up and breathed out. He looked very comfortable. Wang Wan also took a big bite, and the red juice was on both sides of her mouth. She narrowed her eyes with satisfaction and said, "Finally, there is nothing in it. It is really delicious. It is cool and thirst-quenching. Our shaved ice can also be made into a watermelon flavor." Li Sun, on the other hand, was eating much more quietly. She took small bites when she heard Xiaobao and Wang Wan's conversation. Puzzled, she asked, "Xiaobao, could it be that there's something else that can be put into this cold melon?" "Yes, you can put sugar or something red. Take it off in advance and cover it with a quilt. We don't need to eat this. You should have a lot of it at home, right? Tomorrow, bring 2 carts here. When we finish eating this melon, don't throw away the skin and seeds. You can still cook them." It was not easy for Zhang Xiaobao to eat a melon, especially the first melon. It was memorable. He was going to mix the green part of the melon skin into a cold dish. Li Sun hesitated for a moment. "This melon has been bitten by others. Isn't it a little bad to make a dish out of it? Cut off the bitten part first and make a cold dish with the rest. Put some sugar and vinegar in it. It is sweet and sour. If you don't want to eat it, don't fight with us." After Zhang Xiaobao said this, he continued to eat one piece after another, not caring if he would get a stomachache. He only stopped when he couldn't eat anymore. He rubbed his stomach back and forth, occasionally burping. Wang Wan also ate a lot. Fortunately, when she saw Zhang Xiaobao's appearance, she controlled herself in advance and didn't eat too much. She put down the melon rind in her hand, washed her face and hands in the prepared basin next to her, and said loudly to the people on the road who were shouting slogans, "Train well. When you're done, I'll give you some melons. I'll use the melons from Welltown. Just one bite, and it'll be sweet to your heart." It would have been better if she didn't shout, as the 56 people could hold on. Once she finished shouting, Hu Zi among the 56 people couldn't stand it anymore. He had been shouting slogans just now and wanted to follow them. His throat was already smoking. When he heard that there would be melons to eat, he felt that the sun above his head was bigger, his feet were heavier, and it was more difficult to breathe. This was already the 5th training. It had been 5 days in a row. At first, they thought it would be easy to get through it, but they were exhausted on the first day. In the following days, the requirements were stricter, and the weather was hotter and hotter. Before they could become instructors, people from Elm Village came to report. They hadn't practiced well, so they couldn't be instructors. They could only train with 40 people. Hu Zi was in charge of shouting slogans. They had already been walking for 2 hours today, and they still hadn't stopped. Everyone was on the verge of collapsing, and their clothes were already soaked. However, their walking movements were not standard. When she shouted to turn left, 1/3 of the people actually turned in the wrong direction, which made Wang Wan very dissatisfied. Therefore, she let them drink some mung bean porridge and practice for an hour. Only then could they rest for a while. Now Wang Wan was still shouting for them to eat watermelon. They all felt that their hearts were about to burst into flames. Li Sun was also watching from the side. He really couldn't understand what Wang Wan was doing. This training idea was Wang Wan's, and she was also the one who asked them to do those movements. In Li Sun's opinion, these movements were worse than the drill of soldiers. They weren't wearing any armor or holding any weapons. They were just walking back and forth. It seemed like they couldn't train soldiers. With doubts in his heart, Li Sun wiped his hands with a handkerchief and asked Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, You want to train soldiers? You can't use this method. It's useless. When it comes to war, these people don't even know how to use weapons. What army? It's just making them stand in a line. It'll look interesting and tidy. When the time comes, they'll just go out and support the scene. There's no war. If there's a war, we won't be needed. We're far away from the places where we can fight. Zhang Xiaobao naturally wouldn't tell Li Sun that these people would be specially used to protect the Zhang family and Wang family in the future. This kind of training now wasn't to train combat strength, but to cultivate cohesion and a firm attitude towards carrying out orders. At the same time, it could also cultivate willpower. He just casually explained. If it was someone else who said this, Li Sun would have believed it. But since it was Xiaobao who said it, he had to carefully ponder over it. He suspected that there were traces of an expert behind these people's training. If that was the case, then there must be a deeper meaning behind it. It seemed that he had to learn from this. Thinking of this, he asked, "Just these orders? Are there any that haven't been given? I'll go there and let people practice for fun. When the time comes, let's see if all the people I'm training can leave together, or if all your people are orderly." Oh, young Master Li also wants to learn. Okay, then we'll have a competition. There are also some commands that can't be taught now. They haven't figured out these commands yet. If I teach them too many, they'll be even more confused. Later, I'll write down some commands and draw pictures for you. How's our supermarket? The supermarket in Huaiyuan County hasn't been repaired yet. It's still being repaired. When we came back, we took a look at Sanshui County. They've already started delivering goods. You passed by here. Did you go in to take a look? Yes, don't mention it. It opened yesterday, and I went to take a look. Taking advantage of the competition, there were indeed many people who went in. Every one of them looked fresh. The rich people also bought some things. But there was actually an ordinary person's family. I saw her going to the butcher's place and buying 1 or 2 grams of meat at a time. This is nothing. We can sell it for 1 tael. When other people buy things, they usually wrap it in oil paper and give a paper bag at the end for convenience. She actually bought half a kilogram of meat consecutively. Every time, it was 1 tael. Not only did she use 10 pieces of oil paper and 10 hemp ropes, she even took 10 bags from the supermarket. What's the meaning of this? What's the use of torturing others? In the end, I sent someone to ask. You can't even guess the reason why she took those paper bags. She said she was going home to give it to her son to practice calligraphy. She came here to get paper. Li Sun was a little depressed as he talked about the situation in the supermarket. In addition to the person who bought half a kilogram of meat in 10 portions, there were some people who were selling other things. For example, when buying rice, there were some people who were very careful. There were even people who wanted to steal things when there were so many people. Fortunately, they arranged some people to follow others in pretending to buy things. They also put people in key places to watch. There was a scholar who was caught stealing sausages. He insisted that he brought them in himself. What was more infuriating was that there were people who didn't take the sausages out. They just ate the sausages secretly. Zhang Xiaobao was originally not confident in his heart. After listening to Li Sun's words, he thought for a while and said, "It seems that we have to change the rules. In the future, the paper bags will be more exquisite. We will sell them for 1 copper coin each. If there are people who really want to buy something and don't have a basket, they can buy it for 1 copper coin. As for the other people who go in and out 10 times, if they want to buy, they have to bring their own tools. At most, we will give them 2 pieces of oil paper. There is no need to think about the paper bags. There are also some places to eat. Send more people there. If they want to buy something, they can just pay there. As for those who bring things in themselves, catch them. It's not like there is no place to deposit them." Deposit? Don't even mention deposit. There are many people who don't want to buy anything. They just want to go in and see something new. In the end, they bring a live chicken to the deposit place. It's not easy to control them at all. We can't put a few chicken cages in the deposit place, right? Then what if someone drives a pig here? Li Sun was also very dissatisfied with the deposit situation. Zhang Xiaobao was speechless for a while. He could only sigh at those people's valiance. Wang Wan said at the side, "In the future, there will be a rule that no living things are allowed to be deposited. When they are deposited, they don't care if the things are spoiled or not. At most, they will be allowed to be stored for a day. If it is more than a day, it will be treated as if the depositor doesn't want it anymore and the supermarket will deal with it. Otherwise, if someone deposits a kilogram of tofu and leaves it for a few days and doesn't come to pick it up, won't it become stinky tofu?" Wang Wan is right. We can't do it all at once. If there is a problem, we will think of a way to solve it. We will find more people to discuss it. When the time comes, we will be able to build the supermarket. What about the shipping company? Zhang Xiaobao also had the idea of dealing with some things that might happen. Li Sun only sighed. They couldn't tear down the supermarket. The things inside were cheap. Yesterday he saw many people queuing up to buy things. Whether it was for the pictures, novelty, or a real need, it was fine to just buy it. When people gradually got used to this place, they could come to buy things in the future. Hearing Zhang Xiaobao ask about the ship business, he was no longer as gloomy as before. He said happily, "I found a few more people who were willing to do business with us. After Mi Fan was released, I took care of the ship business. I even sent a few people who were good at making ships to do some work at the shipyard you guys were at. The big ship has already started to be built. Based on the speed, it will be able to enter the sea next summer. We can't go too far now. We can only go around the place where the Yellow River enters the sea. Then don't worry. Remember to bring Mi Fan along when you go out to sea. If you find that he is uncomfortable, then the people on the ship have to be careful. Are there many people who went to sign up for the 3 workshops and the craftsman's school to cooperate with them? Are there many people who came from outside?" Zhang Xiaobao was preparing to do something big. He was afraid that he would be tied down by other things. He could only ask one by one to see if there was anything else that he needed to handle personally. Chapter 382. Speaking of boats, Zhang Xiaobao suddenly thought of something. He asked Li Sun, "What do boats look like now? Do you have a ship with wheels?" "Wheels? Why do boats have wheels?" Li Sun didn't understand. "It means that as long as there are wheels, the ship can move forward, backward, and turn," Zhang Xiaobao added. "No, there are sails and oars. Who would use wheels? It's not like we're on land. Don't tell me you want to put a few wheels on the boat and use horses to pull it like a carriage when we're on land? A small boat is fine, but a big boat is too heavy. If it's dragged on the ground, the axle will be crushed. You have to make more or less wheels." Li Sun thought Zhang Xiaobao was bored and came up with this idea. He used a melon to draw what would happen if he wanted to put wheels on the boat. Zhang Xiaobao also picked up a melon skin and pointed to the side. "You see the bicycle Cuckoo and I have, right? If we put big wheels on both sides of the boat, like a water wheel, and there are people inside who step on the axle like a bicycle, then the boat can move." Li Sun looked and thought about it. He nodded and said, "It's possible, but it's useless. With oars and sails, how can the boat be slower than wheels? After putting wheels, it won't be easy to use oars, right? It'll be fun to make." "Fun? How can it be fun? What do you think is the most important thing in a water battle? When both sides have the same number of people, the same weapons, the same commanding generals, and the same combat abilities, what will decide the outcome?" "That's right. That's right. That's right." Zhang Xiaobao finally thought of a revolutionary idea. How could he give up? He continued to persuade Li Sun. Li Sun was stumped by this question. If everything was the same, then what would determine the outcome? Is it luck? While the two sides were fighting on the water, the sky was covered with dark clouds. A big lightning bolt fell and hit the boat of one of the generals, setting the boat on fire. The general was burned to death, or jumped into the water and couldn't command. Then he lost. Would it be better to use a wheeled boat? Li Sun thought for a while, but couldn't figure it out. He could only attribute it to luck. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan laughed almost at the same time. Li Sun was really too humorous, and he even smashed down a big thunder. "Why don't you just say which side the heavens don't like? Wouldn't it be better to just stretch out a hand from the heavens and crush them to death? Formations are not allowed in water battles. Is it easy for a boat to turn on the water? A small boat was easy, but a large ship wouldn't be so easy, right? Using a wheeled boat, not only can it turn quickly, it can even turn from forward to backward at the critical moment. Think about it. When a ship is charging towards the fleet, it suddenly speeds up, or the other party uses a trick to lure it to the front. When the other ships are about to surround it, this ship that should have circled around to make a turn suddenly stops and starts to retreat. What do you think the consequences will be? Zhang Xiaobao told Li Xin a situation that would happen on the battlefield. Then wouldn't the other party have wasted their efforts? Moreover, that part of the formation will be disrupted and readjusted. This time it will be fatal. Li Xin finally understood Zhang Xiaobao's meaning and said in shock. Not only that, there's also turning. As long as one wheel doesn't turn and the other wheel turns, the boat should be able to turn on the spot and move however it wants. It's very flexible. You can get someone to figure out a rough frame and make it into a small boat. When the small boat is ready on the water, you can make a big one. First, make one for my family. It's best if you can make it quickly so that my father can use it when he goes out to take up a post. Zhang Xiaobao made a turning motion with his hand to show the watermelon peel to Li Xin to see clearly. Li Xin kept nodding. He no longer had the expression of thinking that Zhang Xiaobao had nothing better to do. He was now shocked. When he understood the mobility of this boat, he understood how useful it would be in water battles. It wasn't necessary to say that all boats were like this. The original warships could weave in and out of water battles with this wheeled boat, making it impossible to guard against. Such an important matter was not something he could manage. He had to tell his father first, and then let his father do it. Thinking of this, Li Xin said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, even if that boat is made, I may not give it to your family. If your boat is stolen and learn to make it, then will our country still have the advantage on the water?" Stolen and learned? As long as this kind of boat is made, people will know. Can you make everyone on this boat keep their mouths shut? If you don't give it to my family, I won't tell you the changes later. There are still good things later. Zhang Xiaobao didn't think that there was anything to keep secret about this boat. As long as it was made, someone would test it and equip it in the army. Ordinary people might not care about this, but countries with intentions would definitely know. If they really wanted to learn to make it, they would be able to make it after thinking about it for a while. The key to this boat wasn't the technology but the thinking. As for people stealing his family's boat, his family wouldn't go to the sea. Who could steal in Great Tang? How could they leave after stealing? The boat had to be on water. He was determined to get this boat. Li Xin didn't know whether to agree or not, especially after what Zhang Xiaobao said. He had already attributed the boat's matter to that expert. He felt that the expert must have told Zhang Xiaobao and asked Zhang Xiaobao to tell him. A few days ago, the Minister of Works came and took the Book of Nature away. It seemed that the expert had a lot of skills in this area. "Xiaobao, I can't agree to this directly. I'll go back in a while and give me a copy of your training. To be honest, this boat might not be built in our shipyard. Both the Ministry of War and the Ministry of Works will have ideas on this. They'll build theirs and we'll build ours. Maybe we'll be done before they do. It's best to find some boats first and try to see if they can be modified. My family needs it urgently. Remember to add a wheel at the stern of the boat. It'll be faster. Can you find more good steel? If you can, send it to my family. It's useful." When Xiaobao thought about the wheels at the back, he thought of the fans in his restaurant. The fans had low requirements, and there was no need to worry about the parts breaking. There was a power conversion process between the gears and the shaft. If the conversion was done well, one rotation on one side could result in many rotations on the other side. If it was used at the back of the ship, if the wheel was replaced with a propeller, what would the speed be like by using manpower to transmit and change the force? No matter what, it would be better than the wheel directly. If one wanted to make a propeller, they needed good steel. It didn't need to be big enough to directly push a big boat forward, as long as it could be used to assist. They could use the casting method to make the balls of the bearings. As long as it could withstand one battle, it would be enough. At worst, they could change it. Li Sun didn't know why Zhang Xiaobao wanted good steel, but he knew that anything the Zhang family wanted must be useful. Maybe they could make something that could scare people to death. After thinking for a while, he said, I don't have enough. I'll ask someone to find out when I go back. Right now, we're using coal, and the iron we make is not bad. If it really doesn't work, I'll ask someone to refine the iron a few more times and see if we can get the kind that your family wants. That needs to be done as soon as possible. Cuckoo and I will go and get the training material for you. You eat first, and I'll give it to you later. Zhang Xiaobao's purpose was achieved. He walked back to the yamen with Wang Wan. Before leaving, he didn't forget to tell the training people to disperse. The 56 people felt like they had been pardoned. They didn't care about the sweat on their bodies, but rushed to the well and began to take out the watermelons. They didn't use knives, but directly smashed open with their fists. They put their faces on the watermelon and ate it. When their faces left the watermelon, they wiped it with their hands and shouted to vent the anger in their hearts. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan went back to the yamen and began to tidy up. Wang Wan was responsible for the painting, and Zhang Xiaobao helped to think of a few suitable slogans. The two of them worked for half an hour before they finished. Xiaobao, when we leave here, who will we take with us? Will we take Song Jinggong? There are people watching over here, so who will we leave? Also, you have to make arrangements for the people from the Han family's manor and the Yuan family's manor, who joined later. You can't just let the people from the Zhang family's manor have the means to earn money. When the two of them walked back, Wang Wan thought of the two new people from Zhuangzi. They couldn't favor one and discriminate against the other, so she asked Zhang Xiaobao to think of a way. Zhang Xiaobao was also worried about this matter. He couldn't let the two people from Zhuangzi sell roast chicken at the same time. Then, what could be a long-term way to make money that the people from Zhuangzi could use? Don't worry, let me think about it. I can't think of anything right now, and there's still some time before my father leaves. Zhang Xiaobao thought hard for a while, but finally gave up. When the two of them returned to the tree, Li Sun was fiddling with a few watermelon skins, adjusting the direction back and forth, either forward or backward. It seemed that he was preparing to simulate a naval battle, but he didn't know much about it. Take it. Remember to get someone to send the finished boat to my house first. Zhang Xiaobao said as he handed the paper over to Li Sun. As long as my father agrees, I'll send the boat to your house. I'll go back first, and in 2 days, I'll buy a house in Huaiyuan County. When I'm free, I'll come and visit you guys. Li Sun took the paper and said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He got into his car and told the driver to speed up towards the pier. He had already decided that he couldn't be too far away from Zhangjia Zhuangzi. Originally, he made a book of nature, and now there was a new thing. Maybe more things would appear, so he had to stay here. Chapter 383. Hurry up. Someone hurry back to the state capital and ask the state capital to send troops and ships to pick us up. All guards, listen to my order. Don't let anyone near us. If anyone tries to force their way in, shoot them to death on the spot. Li Sun, who was sitting in the car, was looking at the training methods. Suddenly, she saw that the last 2 pages were not training methods. Instead, it was a diagram of the wheels. There was also a diagram of the axle connecting the wheels, as well as a diagram of the feet. She was so scared that she trembled. She put the paper into her bosom and became nervous. Then she began to give instructions outside. For a moment, he felt that anyone would want to snatch the 2 pieces of paper from him. They were treasures and could not be lost. At the same time, he blamed Zhang Xiaobao. Why did he have to give the paper to him at this time? When he returned, he should have asked more people to protect him. Following Li Sun's order, a rider outside jumped out of the troop and went upstream by land. The other guards took out their crossbows and looked around vigilantly, as if they were facing a great enemy. The journey, which should have taken 4 hours, took less than 2 hours. Li Sun arrived at the dock and boarded his own boat. He also ordered the rowers to go back as fast as possible and raise the sails. The sky gradually darkened. Li Sun had no intention of resting. He asked someone to prepare a meal and ate absent-mindedly. From time to time, he would take out the clairvoyance to see if there were any lights of the restaurant between the clouds and the water ahead. Seeing that it was almost midnight, the clairvoyance finally showed some charming lights. Some were floating in the water, some were twinkling in the sky. The lights in the water were boats, and the ones in the sky were Kongming lanterns. There was a rope tied to the bottom. Every night, it would be lit and floated. After a period of time, when the oil inside was almost used up, it would be replaced. Good as long as we're here. Li Sun saw the lights and was temporarily relieved. He took a handful of pumpkin seeds and ate them. When the boat stopped between the clouds and the water, Li Sun directly jumped onto the shore and asked someone to escort him to the academy. When he arrived, he saw Bai Ho there. "Old Minister Bai, can you lend me your guards for a while? I'll return them to you when I reach Jingshui." Li Sun saw the old man and directly told him his intention. The old man looked at Li Sun and sized him up carefully. "What? Someone wants to harm the little prince? Who is so bold? You can stay here tonight. I'll see who dares to come. Call over the yamen runners who are guarding this place." "Old minister, I'm afraid. I can't let anything happen to me. Otherwise, someone may get something that they shouldn't." Li Sun knew that if she didn't make things clear, the old man wouldn't easily lend them to her. What if he wanted to do something with these people? Left with no other choice, Li Sun simply took out the talisman from his bosom and showed the other two to the old man. Li Sun, on the other hand, was talking about the benefits of such a boat and how useful it could be in a water battle. These were all his thoughts, and he wasn't sure if they were correct. At first, the old man was puzzled. He didn't understand when he saw the drawings on the paper. As Li Sun's introduction, the old man suddenly became nervous. He opened his hands and pressed hard on the two papers. He asked Li Sun, "Where did they come from? Who else knows? Where else could they come from? I went to see Xiao Bao and Cuckoo and gave them melons. While eating, Xiao Bao asked me if I had a boat with wheels. Then I told him. Then it became like this. On the way back, I saw these two drawings. Old minister, you can't just leave me be. I've been on tenterhooks all the way here. I didn't even have a good meal. I can't say whether I'm full or hungry now. Why don't I stay here? Then the yamen runners, you and my guards should be fine. I'll go back when my father sends his soldiers." Li Sun told the old man what had happened. In the end, he wanted to stay. He was really afraid that someone would rob him. When the old man heard that it was from the Zhang family, his face calmed down. He said with an expression of foresight, "I knew it. Only the Zhang family has this kind of ability. The advantage of this kind of boat is not only for naval battles, but also for transportation. It can be inserted into the dock between other boats, and can be withdrawn at any time. Normally, a two-zhang-wide river can't accommodate a two-zhang-long boat. If you force it, it will be very difficult to turn around. The bigger the boat, the more troublesome it is. It's not strange for a 50-zhang-long boat to turn around in a 50-zhang-wide river. If it's a boat like this, it's much easier. It can control the direction at any time. You're going to talk to the prince, aren't you? That's good. When the time comes, the Ministry of Works and the Ministry of War will fight for it. The people from the Military Weapons Administration might also intervene. You can't do that, Doc, and the boat you got later. You'll be criticized on one side." "Ah, can't do it?" But Xiao Bao said that the Zhang family wants one. He said that when the time comes, his father can ride on it when he goes to work. Li Sun was still worried about this matter. The Zhang family came up with the idea and the map. If he didn't let them use it, it didn't seem right. If it was an ordinary family, he would have directly arrested them and sent them to the yamen. They would only be allowed to stay in the permitted areas. They wouldn't have to worry about food and necessities. But who would dare to take the map that the Zhang family took out? Let's not talk about others. I'll be the first to worry about it. How should I get the boat? Li Sun had no choice but to talk to the old man and ask for his help. The old man didn't know what to do. He was also worried. If he didn't give it to the Zhang family this time, would the Zhang family be able to come up with better things in the future? Even if they did, they wouldn't take it out. This was the most important thing. Who knew how many more good things the Zhang family had? Li Sun said again. Old minister, can you get some good steel? Xiaobao said that he wants it. He has a big use for it. We'll talk about the boat when the time comes. Let's build it first. If it really doesn't work, we can steal one for the Zhang family. I don't believe that the Zhang family will let others snatch the boat away. I'll ask about the steel. There won't be a lot. Think about it. Li Sun's words worked. When the old man heard that there was a big use for it, it must be something good. If they didn't give the boat away, the other party wouldn't take it out. It was useless to be anxious. That kind of person had a bad temper. They could catch others, but not the person behind the Zhang family. It wasn't that they were afraid of what would happen if they caught him. They were afraid that if they didn't catch him, that person would help another country in a fit of anger. Their country would suffer a great loss. Countless prescriptions were taken out and used for the people's livelihood. The clairvoyance that he learned from the nature book could be used in the military. Now the boat was also used in the military. He was almost an all-rounder. Whoever forced him away would be a sinner for eternity. Even if they died 100 times, it wouldn't be enough to atone for their sins. Li Sun had already expected the old man to say this. The Zhang family was a treasure. He had to protect them. Seeing that someone was helping him, his mood improved. Old minister, should I travel through the night or stay here tonight? There's no hurry. What's written on the paper in front of you? The old man's hand was still on the 2 pieces of paper. He remembered that Li Sun had taken out a piece of paper earlier. Something fun. Xiaobao and Cuckoo said that they were training their family's guards. They stood in line and walked. It looked very interesting. They also found 40 people from Elm Village to play with them. They said that it would look good when they went out. I wanted to come and learn from them. It's not that useful. Li Sun put the few pieces of paper in front of the old man. The old man took them and looked at them carefully. He found that they were indeed very simple. Some of the movements had to be neat, and their voices had to be loud when they shouted the slogan. They had to practice for a longer time, stand for a longer time, and the weather was hotter. As long as they didn't make any mistakes, it was fine. For a moment, the old man really felt that Li Sun was right. It was something fun, and it could also make the ceremony look good. Just as the old man was about to put it down, he suddenly froze. He looked at it carefully again and said, "It's not that useful? Would something from the Zhang family be useless?" Old minister, do you have other opinions? Li Sun really didn't see anything wrong with it. This isn't training any guards at all. It's clearly training an army. In such hot weather, they can endure not moving at all. They can stand in a neat formation. They can shout the slogan so loudly. Give them MO swords. What do you think they can do when they encounter a battle formation? Finally, the old man discovered something surprising from these playful things. Li Sun originally didn't think about this. At this time, when he heard it, he murmured, "What will they do?" Naturally, the swords will stand like a forest, advancing and retreating according to orders. No wonder they have to turn back, turn left, and turn right. It turns out that they are waiting for this. Fortunately, I am smart. If I can learn something from the Zhang family, I will learn it. Otherwise, I will miss it. Xiaobao is too bad. He lied to me and said that Cuckoo was playing with it. No, I will leave tonight. The earlier I go back, the earlier I can come back. If I live next to his house, maybe there is something I haven't seen yet. After Li Sun mentioned it, the old man also thought of the appearance of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. When he imagined the situation when he lied to Li Sun, he couldn't help but laugh. After laughing, he directly spread out the paper, dipped the brush in ink, and copied the drawing. He then said to Li Sun, "Wait for me for a while, I will send this painting up. My guards will protect you when you leave. Also, there are bailiffs here. Since you are taking the waterway, bring along the bailiffs in the water. You can stay there and tell me if you encounter any problems. Unfortunately, it is too far away. When his house is almost finished, I will also move there. It will be convenient to teach the 2 children. If I don't see them for a day, I will miss them. I don't know if the 2 children will miss me." Li Sun couldn't refuse, so he could only sit and wait. When he heard the old man's words, he didn't believe it at all. They were in contact with each other every day. How could he not know what was going on? It was nothing more than seeing that the person behind the Zhang family had made a move again, so he wanted to go and find out first. The old man was writing and drawing. After writing a few pages, he paused and said to Li Sun, "This time, the Zhang family has made a great contribution. If things don't go well, they might be retained by the emperor. Your family should also put in some effort. It is still too early for Zhang Zhong to enter the imperial court." "Old minister, don't worry. I will tell my father. I don't know what will happen if I send Zhang Zhong to that poor place." That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.